I wish I wore my 6-color desert now because it's right over there.
Hey, last time I asked you if we were going to do something like that, you were like, let's just make it random, man. Like, let's just make it random.
Yeah, let's just randomize. Well, because it doesn't matter. Nobody talks about them anyways. Nobody guesses or understands it or really cares what we're wearing.
Well, now they're going to call you out for stolen valor, though. So that's a good part about you wearing that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We could do that whole thing now.
They'll call you out. You're wearing... I had brothers that died wearing that uniform, and you're fucking making a mockery with that hat.
That this uniform has participated in as of yet. Oh, those? That's right.
Well, actually, that uniform has been in wars, but
it just came out like last fucking year.
Yeah, we're still in wars. Last time I checked,
there's like 10,000 entire NATO personnel in Afghanistan. That's it. Even.
They're still there.
Yeah, you're right. They are, and granted, like 7,500 of them are Americans, but
yeah, and we were supposed to be out a couple weeks ago, but that got extended.
Yeah,
so
they're having issues because they're still trying to decide. America's still trying to decide if they're going to uphold all of that. Something that really pissed me off, actually, and you might have an opinion on this too. All of those interpreters we said that we would give citizenship to and everything. That helped us out for like this last 20 years of this war going on. And like some of them have lost their families and their homes and shit, contributing to like trying to free Afghanistan. And then America's like, yeah, fuck you guys, different president.
Well, that happened in Iraq. Nobody talked about that. So why would they talk about it now?
It infuriated me. I was like, you guys made promises to these people. And I'm like, it's not there's that many of them. There's like 2,000 of them. 2,000 fucking people.
That's why, like, when we first started talking and I talked about my interpreter that I had, and I still talk to him. He's finally here. He just came here last year.
Yeah. Which is way too fucking long, you know?
Yep. And he almost died.
Yeah. And then they're just like, fuck you. You did all this for us and go fuck yourself.
Yeah, well, that's just an excuse that they're using to stay there longer. It's like you've had this option for fucking... And I'm not singling out anybody, but for that decision to prolong it even a couple months and pull it on September 11th, I am gonna criticize that because that is the current administration. But like, dude, the previous one and the previous one before that had the opportunity and they never did pull out.
Well, they tried. To be fair,
the last administration brokered the deal of the date of when it was going to happen, which was cool, but whatever. And it's just like.
Why didn't Congress pull everyone back after, what was it, 6 months? How long are they allowed to participate in a war without a declaration of war before Congress has to be like, no?
Right. Well, no, but here, how they got around that, right?
Yeah, I know how they got around it, but it's bullshit.
So, fuck yeah.
It's absolute bullshit. Yeah.
They can go anywhere for any amount of time now because the global war on terrorism.
Yeah, because
global war on...
We're not fighting an actual entity itself. We're fighting a emotion or whatever.
Dude, and it can be anywhere. That's the problem with linguistic propaganda like that is you got to study it and you got to pay attention closely. And it's like, once you realize that, you're like, oh, well, that's fantastic. Good job.
Fair. But at least there's some kind of nice stuff that came out of it, though. Those like 2,000 whatever like interpreters that still wanted to like come back to the the United States or whatever, or basically leave Afghanistan. Canada's stepping up and taking a bunch of them, even though they didn't make that promise to them. France is stepping up and taking a bunch of them. There's a bunch of countries that are stepping up to basically fill in the fucking that the United States did to them. So
yeah, well, it's whatever.
But it still just infuriated me. They're like, different president. Fuck yourself. So
yeah, it's the way it goes.
They didn't even try to give a reason for like not bringing him or anything. Yeah. They're like, nah, just different president. F yourself.
Orange Man's out, so we're all good now.
Yep, pretty much. Yep. Pretty much. So.
But anyway, it's fucking David Wagner's on here again, trolling in the fucking comments. Hey, I tried to talk to you earlier and you fucking ignored me. You shunned me like, you were my Amish fucking stepfather and, I'm not good enough. So, like, that's on you, man.
Well, at least
this
he
is
didn't
for
beat you like a redheaded stepchild. So.
Right, but this is for you, Dave. This is for you. This Colonel Kilgore, which is so stupid on every fucking level that you say that, because I'm not wearing fucking OG 107 fucking jungle fatigues with an ascot and all this shit. Like, no, it's
Yeah, and where's your cool Stetson and your surfboard?
well, I'm not a I was about to drop a word that could have gotten us nailed. I'm not a British term for a cigarette. I'm not that, so no, I'm not going to wear a Stetson.
Yeah, fair. Didn't he also have spurs in that movie too?
I don't remember. It was so over the
I
fucking
haven't
top.
seen that in forever. Yeah,
It's so over the top, but yeah.
Kilgore's grandchild, perhaps.
Probably not. I'd probably be his son.
Yeah.
Seeing as how Desert Storm was only 25 years after that whole thing took place.
Fair.
Just throwing that out there, but hey.
Just throwing them dates out there. But speaking of that uniform, the more and more I wear this one, the less and less I like it.
Yeah, because it's not like universal. It works some places.
Well, no, it's not anything to do with the pattern. I could give a shit less.
Oh, the cut?
Pattern. But like, it's not even really the cut. It's a lot of the little things that are adding up to really bother me. Really bother me. Like how, unlike with your cuffs on your uniform, you have 3 buttons, okay, and one hole. They did the reverse. You have 1 button on the little tab and then a bunch of holes around the sleeve. I think that's weird. I don't like it.
Sorry, we actually make our uniforms right. We didn't choose a shitty fucking material with a shitty fucking cut that you're used to. I mean...
But like, you know what I mean? Like on the BDUs, I like the fact that there's the 3 buttons.
There's 2.
No,
there are
3.
3. There are 3. You're right.
Yeah, I was like, this is my favorite uniform. Don't you dare tell me how many buttons are on the sleeves. There's 3 buttons per sleeve, but like this one only has 1, and I don't like that. It's like reversed, and the button goes like on the inside, which I get so it doesn't catch on shit. But like, it doesn't feel right doing it. And then also, I liked being able to stitch everything on, but they like bar tacked the fucking Velcro onto these uniforms. As you can see, there's a big long fucking seam there.
Yeah,
and it's like, why? Yeah, I know I can cut it off. But now it's like that much more work. Yeah. And technically, I know, like, according to the rules, you're not supposed to cut the Velcro off. You're just supposed to stitch it on over the Velcro. Right. But, like, I'd rather cut the fucking Velcro off because I hate it. Velcro is the worst invention ever in the universe. Yeah, but, like, I don't like that they fucking, like, bar tacked the Velcro in place on 2 sides. Not even all of it, just on both ends.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. But other than that, I'll probably find more I don't like about it. But
I don't like it.
But it also, it fits really good in the shoulders. But if I stand up, it makes me look like I'm like gigantic, like super baggy because I'm tiny. And then if it really should be like that.
So what I'm hearing is,
I got sand in my clit.
That's what I'm hearing. Like that's all I'm hearing from you right now.
Fair.
I mean, just giving an observation there.
I got sent this to like talk about it and review it and wear it and find the stuff I don't like about it. And I'm finding stuff.
It's not good. The Velcro, the cut is not good.
No, I mean, the pants. I like the cut of the pants a lot better than I like the cut of the blouse.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is like again, I don't see what was wrong with the third pattern jungle fatigues. I don't see the problem with that.
I don't either. Other than they're super baggy on me, but I'm kind of a weird body style like that.
Well, no, they're supposed to be baggy though on everybody.
Yeah, but like you've seen me though too, where like I'm really tall, my legs are long.
Yeah,
and my shoulders are big, but the rest of my torso is tiny. Yep. So like it's like wearing a tent. And that's a bit much for me, but I understand why people like it. It's a little too much. So, like, I really like the BDUs because they just dialed that back a bit. But like, I
Yeah.
see why people like the jungle fatigues. So
Yeah, well, and the jungle fatigues are like they're supposed to be like that. But here's the thing: is like if you were in garrison, you know, and you weren't out in the field, you could get a set tailored, which they did, to like be form
for
fitting.
sure. Yeah.
You know, like the Barbie doll kind of like, you know, shit that you've got going on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could get it tailored and it would look okay. And then out in the field, it's like, well, who gives a fuck? This is loose and comfortable. It's
Pretty
allowing
much.
airflow.
And it does have very good airflow, and that's something you want because that would help them dry quick.
Right. And because they're all cotton too. What is
Mhm.
that one made out of?
This one is made out of. I got to take a look at it because it's cotton. It's a cotton blend, but it's a weird.
Well, it's probably
blend.
cotton poly, right?
It's 57% nylon, 43% cotton.
Oh, so they actually increased the amount of nylon in those, so they're heavier than the fucking regular uniform.
True, and then it has 100% nylon, like Cordura, like elbow patches and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably where the 57 or you know whatever the extra nylon comes in. But no, they did that for the material, so that's not right. But
they said it was supposed to be like a material that dries quick, but nylon doesn't.
Nylon does not.
Water, so that's
nylon does not dry quick. Cotton does.
Cotton does dry quick, but like nylon doesn't absorb water. So I understand where they're going with that. That nylon doesn't absorb water, but it's also blended with cotton.
Right, which does.
So it's just going to force more water into the cotton part of the fabric.
And make it unbreathable when you are like in a fucking humid environment.
And I'm on the third floor right now, and I want to take this off, even though I'm just wearing a t-shirt under this, because it is hot. Like I could feel moisture building up in spots because of this unbreathable material.
Well, and like when we were in Iraq, we were allowed to wear both the frac U's and the regular ACUs, right?
Yeah.
And so I wore the ACUs, like the regular 50/50 nylon cotton ones, a couple times, and I'm like, holy shit, this is hot. Like this is.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's just, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Wearing clothes.
And. But like that was after. I mean, again, I was spoiled. And like we had the fucking frackies, which are like mostly cotton with some rayon, and then the whatever else the
Nomex.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was called. Like I say the tag, it was like
poplin. Yeah, the poplin. That's what it was.
No, poplin's a style of material. It's not a.
Material. Oh, I thought it was.
No, poplin's a style
they had
material.
Some like early ones that were like poplin.
Well, yeah, I never got those. But
they were like really scratchy, and I hated the shit out of them.
Right, and the cool thing about like the undershirts that we got over there were 100% combed cotton. They didn't last long, and they were also like they were like Ranger green, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like tan, and they were cotton, and oh my god, that shit in the heat it breathes so much better.
Yeah, like well, they realized that those nylon ones they were giving you, fucking melt to your skin.
Yeah,
if you're in a blast.
Yeah, so if you're an IED or they melt, and it's like, what the fuck were you thinking? But
well, it's because it's moisture wicking. They were like, well,
yeah, it's moisture
getting paint sweat.
Dude, I've never had I've never had prickly heat so bad. I've never had prickly heat so bad as when I was wearing the regular ACUs, like with the polyester T-shirt, the 50/50 nylon cotton blend ripstop. I've never had such bad prickly heat in my life.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, it's designed to be like, it's one of those things where I get that they're supposed to look fancy, you know, and it's also supposed to be a like form and function type of garment, you know? Like I know it's supposed to look relatively good and that it's supposed to also, you know, work. But there's a lot that doesn't work about it. Oh, you even got the helmet cover.
Somebody asked, so I just fucking yes.
The Pasget cover. They're really.
I actually have everything now for a Gulf War impression.
There you go.
I literally have
got the old Alice gear.
The LC2s, yeah, with the pouch. Got the butt pack. The fucking. I actually too. You guys are the first to know this. I have a Pasget vest that's in size extra fat. It's a woodland one, but that's fine. And
you just got to get the cover for it.
Well, yeah, but not all the units had those.
New.
But I have a Pasget vest in size extra fat that fits me, and I'll put the LC2 over that, and then I have the M17A1 gas mask bag and the gas mask itself.
Mhm.
I have an Alice pack, of course. So
You're all set then. You're ready to look like a target dummy out there.
yeah, for sure.
So, God, some stuff though. At least they had some desert camouflage to give them, even though it wasn't good.
Chocolate chip.
Yeah,
That's not terrible. There's worse patterns.
yeah. Well, I mean, woodland was worse, which is the other pattern they had.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like desert patterns that are fucking worse than
well, I mean,
chocolate
there's a
chip.
reason why this is still so prominent in the Middle East.
Right, like the actual design of it itself. It again, the Iraqis when I was there, they were just transitioning from chocolate chip to like Marpat woodland, which was dumb. I didn't see. They wanted to be hip. They wanted to be like, oh, we're just like you guys. It's like, well, why don't you just
You're
wear
not.
chocolate chip? Because like I've got a photo. You've seen the photographs of like me
Yeah.
wearing UCP and the other guys wearing chocolate chip, and he blends in better with the background, on T-walls and guard shacks and shit like that than I did.
Fair.
It's like I'm just a big blue fucking blob, and then they're wearing chocolate chip, and it breaks up the outline, and it's like it blends in. So yeah.
I wonder if it's like what they did in Afghanistan, where everyone gave Afghanistan a bunch of shit for adopting a woodland pattern as well. Even though technically most of Afghanistan is actually wooded. A lot of people don't know that. Most of it is.
Well, it's the way they went about doing that. That was really shady. Like
it was really shady, but like there's a reason that they also did that. Like, so not only is it meant to be because, for one, Afghanistan's actually mostly wooded, but yes, most of the action takes place in the arid part of the country. But it's also for during the day, you do stand out. It's that whole authority thing because they're doing checkpoints and
Right.
roadblocks and stuff. It's so they stand
So
out
you
on
can see 'em.
purpose as like an authority figure, And then
Yeah.
obviously they operate. They do the ANA does 95% of their operations at night, and that camouflage works much better.
Right, and that's
at
fine.
night. Yeah,
It's
in that
fine.
environment. But people were just looking at all the newsreel footage and looking at the pattern they adopted, and were like, "That doesn't make any sense." And I'm like, "It actually does when you dig into it." But
Right, and if you're operating in an arid environment, like your uniform's going to pick up a lot of fucking sand and dust, and it's going to get lighter, just like the IDF wears all.
yeah, it also
all
it
drab.
fades really quick. A pattern that dark fades really.
Well, and you don't even have to fade it. Like it'll pick up.
Yeah.
The dust, and it'll go from woodland to like a darker desert pattern.
Fair.
If you're in an arid area, but like again, like we go back to the whole the way that went about that's such quintessential fucking cronyist
they were basically
bullshit.
so heavily bribed into adopting
by this
pattern.
company. Yeah. And it's like they weren't even a government contractor. They were friends with people.
Company.
Yeah, they were friends with people who were government contractors who made that happen, and it was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I mean, it worked out, and their equipment is just brown. It's solid brown, kind of like the Marine Corps is. It's just brown.
Mm-hmm.
So using a woodland pattern with brown equipment, because you can actually play tricks on what the human eye picks up by pairing the camouflage with different colored equipment. Like if you pair multicam or OCP with green, it looks more green to the human eye. And if you pair it with tan, it looks more tan to the human eye just because of the transition of colors in the pattern itself. And so like pairing that woodland camouflage, which actually has two different shades of brown in it, a dark brown and a tan, it actually draws more tan out of the pattern, which makes it look not as bad as if you're not wearing the equipment. So again, with that whole like authoritative things, like when they're actually wearing their vests and their helmets and crap and they're going out, they're gonna appear more tan than when they're not wearing that.
Right. Yeah, and that's fine. It's just, and again, like camouflage is not like one invisible. That's a very common misconception. It's like it just gives you, if you need to be hidden for a bit, it gives you that extra few seconds. Yep.
Couple seconds. It's not. People ask me all the time. I'm sure they ask you, "What's your favorite camouflage pattern?" I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter.
There's camouflage patterns that I don't like for anywhere, which is it's a very slim list. But like the rest of them, it's like
that's the thing. Because people are just going to be confused. You know, they're going to be like the balls on this person for wearing that.
Really? Who in the fuck would be wearing that shit? Wow, he must be nuts.
Pretty much. It's like, we're going to stay over here.
But no, like, so it's funny because chocolate chip, and I was telling this on the video, like chocolate chip works well here in the spring and the late fall when everything's dead and brown.
Around, yeah.
That's up in a because right now it's very green up here because it started raining and it's like late spring.
It really
now.
greened everything up. Like overnight.
Oh,
it was
Jesus.
Like, boom.
We're gonna have to start doing camo tests soon. But this works well up here, which is nowhere near a desert. But it works well because of the color, the way the colors meld together and they're formulated. And like, so that's why I say, yeah, the same thing is like, what's your favorite camo pattern? It's like, aesthetically, I don't have one. Functionally, I don't have one.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's
fair.
There's so many cool looking camouflage patterns, but it's like, do they work? Well, a lot of them do if you know how to use them in the right spot. Like, it'd be cool if I could make it serious if I had the time. Like, and I went in the same spot every fucking day for a year, and wore different camouflage patterns based on the cloud coverage,
and the time of day,
the cloud coverage, the rain, the lack of rain, the drought, the vegetation. That would take a shitload of work, though.
Yeah,
but it'd be cool, like, because I could sit there and look out at an environment and be like, okay, if I'm going out there today, this is the pattern I'd want to wear because it's going to be the most effective.
And I'm glad that you have that option because most guys don't have that option.
Well, right. And I'm also a collector, which is
But like, you know, most people in the military, they go out, like back when you were getting issued UCP, you don't really look out at an environment and be like, UCP is perfect for this.
No, the couple times we actually did like search and destroy training missions where it was like two of us would go out in a team and like they're like, you have 30 minutes to hide. And I'm like, can we paint our faces at least? Yeah. Do we have to wear helmets? Nope. Okay, so we'll wear our booty hats. We'll stuff a bunch of vegetation in there and paint our faces. And I took a new guy out and we went into the thickest goddamn shit, like reeds. It was like an area of reeds or like this thick, I don't remember what kind of bush it was, but it was really like bad. And I was like, we're going into the middle of this. He goes, is this a good idea? And I'm like, yes. And so we went in there and it was like pure dirt. That's how thick it was. There was no vegetation below on the ground. It was just dirt. And I'm like, all right, get in the middle and just lay down and relax and put your M4 underneath you. And I'm like, just lay down. And, a couple minutes later, 15, 20 minutes later, some guys are walking by us. We can hear them. He's like, what do we do? And I'm like, we're fine. Relax.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but are they going to see us? I'm like, no. Do we cover ourselves up with shit? I'm like, nope.
Don't move. Shut up.
Right. Exactly. And then he's like, okay. So we just sat there. And these guys, I was watching them, I'd turn my head slowly to watch them. They walked by us like, let's check in here. And the guy like grabbed his M4 and he was like pushing the reeds to the side, back and forth, looking right at me. But he didn't see me because it was so dark in there that it actually worked on the reflection of the uniform. And he's like, yeah, they're not in here. And they all walked by. And then the guy I was with, he's like, he mouthed really to me. And I was like, we're doing good. And so we laid down and then, the hour passed that they had to look for us. And then, index. And we got up and we were like maybe 50 yards away from these guys. We got up, we got out and they're like, holy shit, you guys were in there? We're like, yeah. Like, we couldn't even fucking see you. I'm like, that is literally the only place that this shit can possibly hide us.
Yeah.
We could be naked. We could be naked and hiding in there. Literally.
And they were looking. Yeah, true, fair. If you're in dense enough shit, anything you're
right.
Hidden. But like,
right.
I also don't think a lot of people seem to think that no matter what in like a military operation or anything like that, that you're constantly looking for people wearing camouflage. Like you're constantly on edge. Like when the vast majority of the times you don't care.
No, you're looking for movement.
You're not purposely trying to pick out people.
Right. No, you're looking for movement. You're looking for things out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
That don't look
not
natural.
Looking for people holding still in camouflage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not doing that. Yeah, it's like no, you're looking for movement and things out of the ordinary. And And sometimes you don't see it. It happens. And it's like, whatever.
I didn't give a shit. I wasn't looking at that. I'm like, if they shoot at us, that's how we'll know where they are.
Yep.
So that's about how it went. Nobody gave a fuck, you know. But so I don't get why people that don't have a lot of experience with camouflage are so uppity about it. I guess, but to each their own.
Because of what you literally just answered your question. They don't have experience with camouflage.
Yeah, pretty much. But like it doesn't take a head cashier at Walmart to figure this stuff out.
That's my line, but hey, that's okay.
And like you said, you know, in one of your videos, with the way that night vision and thermal vision's coming along, it's not going to fucking matter what camouflage you're wearing, anyways. They can already basically see your fucking pulse from space. Who the fuck cares? So they can drop.
Everybody's gonna shoot that. It's like, well, they have radios and they'll be on, you know, like line with guys that do see you through thermal imaging and be like,
yeah, not to mention,
guys 30
drones
yards in front of you,
cameras that can shoot a missile the size of a minivan at you, you know. So
even like these fucking, you know, ragtag guerrilla groups like the Mouj and the fucking Fedayeen and all that shit that don't have the technology, well, they'll get it.
Yeah,
they'll get it.
Well, that was a problem that they had, like with like Ukraine. Why nobody's surplusing shit anymore? They got a hold of uniforms, current issue uniforms.
Yeah.
And that caused the whole problem of why now there's no more camouflage.
A lot of European stuff, yep. And well, actually the US too is not surplusing their camouflage anymore, which really sucks.
Well, the US is doing theirs different because they're giving it all away as aid. So
they did the same thing with the weapons too.
Mm-hmm. They're just giving it all away to people that need it. So,
well, they're selling it. Like, let's be honest, they're selling it.
Well, fuck yeah, they're selling it, but they're selling it for a good deal because they're getting friendship and money out of it. And it's all funny until somebody fucking Al Qaeda 2.0's us, you know.
I know, and it's like,
and it's gonna happen.
Let some fat fuck American like me sell surplus to Americans mostly.
Yeah.
That's going to be less destructive in the long run, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention, it's still going to make the U.S. probably even more money than if they're selling it to some rogue African country, you know, that's going to have another civil war in 5 years.
To be fair, if they're giving away most of their UCP shit, I get that, and I encourage that because fuck UCP.
Yeah, fair. Well,
nobody
I think
wants
they're getting rid of most of that, but like I know that like what they did with all the BDUs and DCUs, they gave all those out. They gave them to so many countries. Same thing with all the PASGETs. Whatever they didn't surplus, you know, they rounded up and gave it away.
ANA, Iraqi Army, they were all wearing PASGETs.
Yeah, they gave all that shit away. They gave all their own technology away. The Alice 2 equipment. Why is it all gone now? Because they fucking gave it all away.
Right.
So, you know. But so the US isn't surplusing their shit because they're selling it all to.
Right, but Europe, they're done. They're just destroying it, and
they're burning it.
As of 2018, and that really sucks because they're that fucking sensitive. And
who knows? Maybe it'll come back around eventually.
No,
once people realize that no matter what camouflage you wear, doesn't matter. Maybe then they'll.
But what government rolls back regulations and restrictions ever? Like, let's be honest.
It's a fair point.
On anything.
It's a fair point.
Anything.
It's very
taxes, rules, laws, regulations, procedure. Like, it never gets rolled back. It always just keeps going forward because they have all the power.
Wait. It always does get rolled back eventually when there's a revolution or they get annexed.
Yeah, and then a shitload of fucking people die, and then it's like...
Well, I mean, to be fair...
Sometimes it's worse than it was before, and it's like, well, how did this get worse? Like, we didn't imagine this could get worse, but it is.
Whatever happened without anyone dying, to be fair?
The same shit that's always happened?
Yeah, but like, still. You know, they don't just do stuff for no reason.
I mean, you say that now until it directly affects you, and it's like, oh shit, here we are again.
Well, it'll happen. It'll always happen, but it's just like, you know, it's like what's it got to be? A few people die or a ton of people die? One of the two.
Well, nowadays it'd be a ton.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just get it over with, like ripping a Band-Aid.
Well, again, you say that now.
It's fine. It'll be all right in the long run. We gotta like Thanos this thing, you know.
Right.
Gotta get rid of some people.
It's getting too
Do
dark.
some stuff. Getting kind of dark. Do gas station sunglasses.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh man. Oh, Austria was smart. Didn't they just adopt a new camouflage?
Yeah, the Kampfanzug
Which is
18.
really
Yeah.
interesting looking.
Yeah, because Austria is so relevant in the world stage. So, like, it's a good thing that they adopted camouflage.
Yeah, I like the green. I think they had it figured out.
Yeah, their uniforms look great from 75 on. It's like,
They had
I mean,
it
the
figured out.
Kampfanzug 58 or 57 was like, it was cool, but like, I didn't actually think it blended in very well with.
No, it
like,
didn't do very well in their environment because it was too light.
They should have changed the colors. Like the pattern itself is good. It's very good.
It
But,
should
like,
have
the
been
colors,
darker though.
yeah, the colors. But then they would have gone and been, oh, it's .44. We're still sensitive. Oh my god.
Yep, because Austria had so much to do with that pattern.
Well, I mean, there was a certain Gefreiter in World War One that was from Austria who kind of championed the branch that adopted .44 and, you know, Plane Tree, Oak A, Oak B.
Yep. Fair, but that means
I'm just kidding. Like, that's their logic, though. Like, that's their logic. It's like, oh, we don't want to look anything like that. It's like, well, if you're not, you don't.
Well, then make a new pattern. How's that sound? Also, Switzerland didn't give any single fucks, and they basically exactly copied.
Oh, you and Mister, yeah, it's fucking.
While sitting on a pile of giant gold that had swastikas on it, you know. So, like,
well, if you come and
had it
claim
right.
this, we're gonna arrest you for war crimes.
Yep.
But we've got it.
I like that though. They're just like sitting on a pile of Nazi gold, and you'd be like, "Yeah, that was a good idea. That camouflage that the Nazis used. I guess we'll take that."
Yeah. What are you gonna do, bitch?
Yeah. Fight us. We're Switzerland. Try.
Yeah. We don't just have your money, we have everybody's money.
We have everybody's money, and they're going to be really upset when their money's threatened. I'll tell you that much. So, Switzerland really figured it out. They really figured it out.
Well, it'll come back to bite them in the ass when the world ends.
Fair.
You know
what good is all that money if you can't spend it?
And it's like, you find your fast for, oh, well, I'll give you that. But you'll only be a million on my back.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Look at that.
Okay. It's like, well, you'll only be able to kill a few million enemies at most. Like, you really will. If they swarm Switzerland, you'll be able to like ravage the shit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like, yeah, it's like, so everybody says Switzerland's invulnerable. Well, Finland should have been invulnerable, but they lost.
Yeah. Well, you know, here's the thing though. Like, everyone's like, Switzerland was so great. Switzerland never was going to win. They weren't going to win if World War I took place, you know, in their country. They weren't going to win if the Germans decided to invade in World War II. The whole thing was to just be able to do enough damage for them to not even think about it.
Right.
That
costs them. Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be a cost-benefit analysis before you invade a country. And Switzerland just made sure that cost-benefit analysis was way too high for them to gain any value from having to invade them. And
well,
that's
apparently, according to our favorite fucking commenter here, the Swiss camo is more for the autumn, though. That's why they adopted it from the 50s through the fucking 90s.
I had an argument with a guy about this, too. He's like, oh, yeah, it's like red for, like, camping and shit like that. And I'm like, God damn, are you guys absolutely beyond, you know, sharp as a bowling pin? You guys are all sharp as a bowling pin. The reason the camo is red, all right? I'm going to say this once so you all can know. Yes, it's so because IR works on the infrared spectrum. red colors mess with infrared. Early night vision devices used like red light, all right, to develop like IR technology. And now this is back when like not like a night vision goggles. Night vision goggles don't work super good on it now, even though they're still technically like IR, because it's back because there's a different IR light spectrum that it's working on now. But early infrared lights ran on the red spectrum. So if you put a lot of red in your camouflage, it would mess with the light that device picks up. And this is back when like a night vision device is like the size of a backpack, and they're mostly on tanks and shit like that. And so that's why it's red. It's to defeat early night vision. So not to like just blend in the environment. Just so you guys know. Now
But it
you
also
guys
does it
know.
quite well, even in urban or like very woodland environment. It still, for whatever reason, fucking does
Yeah.
blend in fairly well.
So, but like, I don't know why everyone seems to think, oh, it's just for the fall. I'm like, it's literally one Google search away.
Oh, dude, but to ask people to actually do research on their, like, really, why would you do
Before
that?
opening their goddamn cock holsters and just spewing information? Yeah, that's so hard. Sorry to be harsh on everyone, but like, geez. You know what? I think I'll have one of these because I like them. I like them so much.
Le Croix.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
They're
exactly. Research is racist.
It is racist.
Be back in a bit.
All right.
Maybe he wants to. He's being a prick today.
Took his headset off, so I didn't hear that. But this is I'm the black raspberry because I'm trying to cut out a lot of the sugar in my diet, and the tap water here sucks. Right, because my God, Michael, I can't even right now. I've been arguing with so many people on the internet so far today over exactly dumb shit like this. I can't. I can't do this. I can't go on another rant explaining like why people this dumb should start shotguns and just do the world a favor. But like, I can't. Just please do some homework before you come to me with just useless information that's not backed up by anything. Oh, so I was going through. I am doing so much research and reading so much stuff all the time. That's most of the time. But like, not the first time I've been told that. I do look like Murr from Impractical Jokers, except I have hair. I was going through all my cool patches and stuff the other day too, and I got some rare patches because I have a distant relative that's actually a part of this. This is actually super rare and pretty hard to find. So, and it goes with this. So if somebody can tell me where these are from, that'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's not the Lasagna Brigade. Two world wars. What about them? There was actually a lot more than 2 world wars. It is the Swiss Guard, the Pontifical Swiss Guard. Look at that. So, it is the Pontifical Swiss Guard, one of the most well-recognized divisions of the Swiss Army. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Yeah, but Murr's like the skinniest of all of them, so I know it was a fun joke. It's just it's become so surreal now though that it's like because I know people that say that. But what do you do? I was gonna say exactly. I see we have a man of history here, actually, a student of history. I get a lot of Swiss vacation ads too. It's usually like whatever country I'm like researching on historically, I start getting a lot of travel ads for that country. It's like I've been talking with Tom so much about like Norway that I get Norway travel ads now all the time in my like little pop-ups and stuff. So well, I appreciate somebody that actually understands this type of stuff, like a lot. So
Of course, the Weasel Horse went out there and like sat and didn't do anything.
did nothing. So we had a question. I know I was digging through all my patches, and I know you'll know what this is right away. But
No, I don't know what that is. It's not a U.S. patch.
well, you're right. It's not a U.S. patch.
It's the Swiss Guard, Papal States, right?
It is the Swiss Guard. That is the Swiss Army patch for people that are currently or have served in the Pontifical Swiss Guard.
I would not advertise that. That would be like an ashamed part of my past if I did that.
Oh, I also have the Pope's Swiss Army knife that matches it.
Congrats.
The Pope's Swiss Army knife, actually made in Switzerland. Swiss Army knife.
I have one too.
I know, they're the best. I love them.
I don't have one of those. I have the non-stupid version.
I have one that's just like this, but in the classic like red, and it's from like the 70s, and I use it all the time. It's like my favorite knife.
Yeah.
So it's
I
the
don't
best
need-
thing ever. Everyone's always got all their cool like tactical like folding knives and crap like that. I'm like, pretty hard to beat the original Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, I suppose. You know, what's really cool? There's a story behind my very first Swiss Army knife ever. So let's analyze the amount of irony / taboo in this.
Okay.
I'm sitting at church when I was a kid, probably about 8 years old. I'm sitting in Catholic church and I'm kneeling down. And I look in front of me, like the pew below me, there's a Swiss Army knife. What the fuck is it
sitting
called?
like in front of the little kneeling bench type thing?
Yep.
I grew up Catholic as well. I know all about the shit that they have, the calisthenics you do to go through Catholic service.
Yes. So it's a Victorinox, right? And it's sitting in front of me. It's a miniature one. And so I look at my dad, and he's like half asleep as he usually was. And I was just there with my dad, actually, on that one. And so I reached down, I grabbed the Swiss Army knife, and I put it in my pocket. And then the service got done, and we left. So I literally stole something in church.
During a Catholic service.
And it was something that could kill somebody.
Yeah. Well, Mike, that's like the ultimate sin, man. You should have burst into flames right then. Fiery pits of hell.
Right. If it wasn't yeah, if it wasn't for confession, I'd be a lost soul for sure. You know?
But like, no, that knives are shit. Like, if you could get one of the old Swiss Army knives, like it's really hard to beat some of the nice steel that was used in those. And
oh no, shit! I was younger than that. My God, because no, so I carried it in my pocket, and I accidentally wore the same pair of jeans to school that I wore like on a Sunday, and I wore it on Monday.
Yeah.
And so I was in second grade. I remember this because I was in second grade, and I was like, "Oh shit, I have a knife. Like, if they find this, I'm fucked." You know, back before Columbine, but like, it was still not okay. And so I went and told the teacher, I'm like, "I just want to like put this out here. Like, I carry this at home, and like it was in my pocket." He's like, "Okay, it's a knife.
Keep it in your pocket. Shut up." Yeah.
No, but he's like, "It's a knife. Thank you for telling me this. Come get it at the end of the day."
Yep. That's real nice because nowadays the teacher would have to be like, "You're expelled," and blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
This whole ordeal. But like that's how it was like when I was a kid too.
But
it's like
he gave it to me. He gave it to me to go on the bus, you know, to go home. And but he's like, "Thank you for telling me," and it's all.
But that's
okay.
also, you know, back when and you were responsible and turned it in. It didn't need to be a big ordeal. But like, there's plenty of times where like you're carrying a knife around, the teacher's just like, So leave it in your fucking pocket. Don't be a dumbass.
Well,
You know?
after that, I left it in my pocket because there were several times where I went to school, and I think I got caught one more time, and they're like, "What do you have in your pocket?" I'm like, "Carmex, my fucking wallet, and a knife." And they're like, "What kind of knife?" I'm like, "A pocket knife." And I pulled it out, and they're like, "Okay, put it back. Like, just don't take it out." I'm like, "Wasn't planning on it. I don't use it here. I carry a knife when I'm not in school." That's probably why I don't carry a knife anymore. Is because after Columbine, they got really, really dumb about that shit.
Yeah. Well, I used to do the same. They were just in my bags, and they were just all over the place because it's good to have it, you know,
Right.
if you would ever need one to like have them. But there's
Well,
plenty of
and-
places where you're walking around, it's like no weapons, and it clearly shows like a picture of a knife, and you're just like,
Yeah. And we
and
were also
just don't be a dumbass. Just don't be a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
about it,
Like we were in a pretty rural school, and like it was okay. Like when I was in high school, I had my F-150, and I had during deer season in November, I had my Long Branch number 4 Mark 1 in the back, like behind I had a bench seat in there, and so I
Yeah.
had it behind the bench seat, but I had the magazine, as per Wisconsin state law, you could
Separate
have a
from the
firearm,
rifle.
and I had it in the thing above the stereo,
Yeah.
but you could see the rounds.
Yeah.
And the assistant principal would do that little toe-headed fuck. He would do rounds every day to see if anybody had like visible tobacco or anything because he was a douche. And he talked to the actual principal, who, through agreement, I was only supposed to talk to him, which was awesome because the assistant principal was a fucking douche. And so I get called onto the office randomly, and I'm like, I actually don't know what this is for. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I call him up, and he looks at me and he goes, "Okay, do you have a gun in your truck?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "What kind of gun?" I'm like, "A
Hunting
rifle." I just said a rifle. He goes, "It's hunting season, right? You hunt?" And I'm like, "Yep." He goes, "Okay.
Because I know, like, technically, no firearms are allowed on school
Right,
property.
but he
like,
actually looked down. And he's like,
you know what
take-
you did now.
he says take the magazine out of your center console and hide it. He goes, "I know you're not going to shoot up the school, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, you've got my confirmation."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I know you're not going to shoot up the school, but it might make people nervous." And I'm like, "Noted." And he goes,
Fair enough.
"Have a good one."
Yep.
And so he's like, "Go out there and take it out right now, and then go back to class." And I was like, "Okay."
Yep.
So I just put it underneath the
Don't
seat.
be a dumbass, basically. It's like, just
Right.
don't be a dumbass. Just put it where people can't see it.
Right. And so I mean, there were so many guys that had guns in their car, like rifles and shit.
Oh, like growing up, I had so many Enfield Chargers just
Yeah,
sitting.
but
in
you were also in
fucking
Canada,
there.
though.
You
were
know,
also in Canada.
Yeah,
Like it's
you needed
like,
to have easy access to ammo all the time.
and here they had to abide by the stupid fucking laws, but like they exercise discretion very well.
Yeah,
and it was like they could have nailed me right there. I could have been.
They could have, but like I understand that also. You know, you had reason for it in there. Technically, you're not supposed to have it, but like you're not being a dumbass about it. That one guy was just looking for any reason to be a douche.
Right. And after that, it wasn't an issue. And yeah, he's like, I think like a year later, he asked me, he's like, "How often do you have a gun in your vehicle?" I'm like,
all the time.
Most of the days. And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, fair. I mean, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I can't tell you how many times I've tried to go through the fucking airport and you whip a bag into the X-ray machine and it flags every time because there's just like loose ammo in there and it's like fuck.
Well, I'm also very good about, like, when I go to the airport, I take my assault pack,
Yeah,
which I also is my range bag. You know,
same.
And
I have
I
one
literally,
bag I take everywhere. Yeah,
every time I'm gonna fly, I just dump the whole thing out. I go through all the pockets. I'm like, I just want to get through fucking the checkpoint as quick as possible. And yeah, I haven't missed one yet, which is cool. But yeah, it's no, in high school, like where I went to high school too, is again very rural. Like you know the area that I'm in. Like it was less built up when I went to high school than it is now, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, and it's still pretty unbuilt up.
My graduating class had 119 or 120 people in it. You know,
Dang, 3 times my whole town.
right? But like, it's still for the U.S. like that's pretty small.
That is pretty small for the United States. Yeah.
So and also it's Mike Guevara.
That's right, Mike
on my
Guevara.
shirt. So if you're gonna address that, yeah, there's a lot of people like that are like, I'd buy your shit if it didn't have Che on it, and I'm like, it's not Che. Like, but people that know that, I'm like, well, that's the whole point, is to cause controversy.
Yeah.
Like, you
And
would
it's
not
also
believe
meant to be funny. Stop being such.
It's
pull the stick out of your ass.
right. And it's like, well, the thing I would say is buy the fucking shirt. And I don't get a lot out of each shirt sale.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't get a lot out of each shirt sale. I'm not saying it for that, but like, buy the shirt and like say, well, how about this? Let me pick your brain. Did Che Guevara have a double chin, a very defined double chin, and wear flannel ever with a Mike's Militaria logo on his beret?
Yes, he did actually. You didn't know that, but like he did. That was his later years after he got fat, like Elvis, you know.
Well, if he actually did that, my business would be a hell of a lot better.
Supposedly killed him, you know, but they didn't, and they just moved him somewhere else, you know.
Right. So Che Guevara is Elvis. Che Guevara is fat Elvis. Elvis died years ago in a bathtub overdosing on heroin. Like, they just don't want to tell you that. And so Che came over and was so charismatic and so good at what he did in all of his life. He excelled at everything that, like, you're going to be Elvis now. And then you're also going to die from an overdose. But you're going to be a lot fatter, and you're going to wear flannel in some photo shoots. And
there you go. See, that's how it works. We solved it. And now the U.S. is going to, you know, kill us, Mike. They're going to Hillary Clinton us.
Yeah, well, she's a very low-key player in that whole cabal. But yes.
But I don't know about you. I don't think I could shoot myself in the back of the head twice.
3 times. It was 3 times.
3 times, yeah. Yeah, just like an absurd amount of times, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess you have a really high pain tolerance and you can function doing this.
Yeah, you must. Well, I mean, some of these people that I get to deal with on the internet probably could, with how little brain they're using.
Yeah, I know. It's insane.
Well, if they're gonna JDam my house, they're gonna get a lot of other people too. I live in an apartment building.
A lot of collateral damage.
Yeah, fair. So
a lot
I mean,
of collateral
to be fair,
damage.
it's probably just gonna be drug dealers and petty thieves. So probably doing the world a favor, actually. But
fuck.
The world right now, it's so great. I love it. From an entertainment perspective.
I guess David's not watching anymore. Fucking.
Oh, come on.
God. What a clown.
Oh, Ray Leahy's here.
Excellent. I guess.
I liked you as the producer of Trailer Park Boys. Ray was the producer, one of the producers.
It was Ray, Ricky. Oh, fuck, what was his last name? Ray. It was a French last name.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I forgot it.
Well, it's not Leahy, but yeah.
Well, Barry Dunn was the name of the actor or the producer, but like, yeah.
But yeah, what was Ricky's last name?
It was. Go Google it really quick.
All right.
Oh Jesus! Fucking Golden HQ is on here, shelling out that fucking cash, that pity cash.
Beer money. I haven't had an alcoholic drink in a while now. Lafleur.
Lafleur, yeah. Ricky and Ray Lafleur. Yep.
Richard Lafleur.
The flower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Leahy. Yeah. Lafleur. Yeah.
Lim Jehe at your service here, bud.
I want some of them jalapeno chips. It's jalapeno.
That's what I said.
Jalapeno, yeah.
Yeah, so I said jalapeno. Jalapeno. And he's still like mispronouncing it, but like the most Canadian way possible.
Yeah. Oh yes, the omelette du fromage.
Yeah, cheese omelet. Fucking A.
Which can't go wrong with a cheese omelet. That's right. That's probably what I'm gonna have for breakfast tomorrow, and a nice pamplemousse.
Life isn't about getting drunk and eating chicken fingers. God, I fucking love Trailer Park Boys.
Well, I also love getting drunk and eating chicken fingers, and that's like a great way to spend a whole day of your life. So.
Those are the good kind. $8.
Yeah, $8. Yeah. For back when that was shot, that was like expensive as fuck.
But it's like still. Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose, but yeah, Getting drunk and eating chicken fingers, listening to blues music with your dad that's faking a disability in a wheelchair? Yes.
Just in the summer, which is short in Canada, hanging out in the yard. That sounds like a fantastic fucking day. I'd do that now.
I fucking love that. Gears slipped, air brakes were just shot to hell, and next thing I know it, I had a muscle spasm in my back, and boom, right into the post office. Yeah, I didn't mention he was wasted out of his goddamn mind. I mean, some people can drink and drive, some people can't. Like, what is drunk? Is drunk, swerving all over the road and bumping into the post office?
Jimmy's water.
Yeah. Thirsty. I think I get a bottle, drink it from your bottle there. Do you, Jimmy? Frig off, Ray. Get your own water. Nah, I want some of Jimmy's water. That's kind of gets you fucking drunk, isn't that right, Jimmy?
Yeah, he borrowed that thing from me. I used to pour water out and fill it full of vodka.
Yeah. I think he got that from me back when I was hanging from Tammy, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, actually.
Yeah. God damn. God, it's such a well put together show.
Well, that's like we said before, it's like I know many of those characters in real life from where I grew up and who the people my dad dealt with. And my dad watched the show too, and he wasn't laughing for the first. I'm like, you don't think it's funny? He goes, "Oh no, it's just that I know all these people.
This is a real thing for me." Yeah.
He's like, I've met all of these people.
Is this a documentary?
Right, and so like one time, my dad told me like, I'm like, really? You know these guys that were they shooting guns? He's like, yeah. And he said one time he was sitting up, it's a very small town that I grew up in of, I think at that time, 600 people. And a very small town. We drove through it. I showed you the shithole that was and never will be. And
yeah, we never got to go see your haunted house.
Oh, next time we go up to the shooting location, it's not that far off the road. Yeah, we'll go see it. But he said one time he was sitting up at the village hall, which is the cop shop, and his office was in there and everything. And he was sitting up there, slow night, everything, and he's smoking his pipe in the garage and everything. And all of a sudden he hears a gunfight going on. Like, it's not fireworks. He can like tell it's like a gunfight. He's like, what in the fuck? So he gets in the Crown Vic, right? The Crown Victoria.
Yeah.
Opens the door, gets out, goes over to the trailer court, which is east of town, just like a quarter mile, not even a quarter mile. It's like maybe a fucking eighth of a mile on the other side of the highway. And he pulls up, and there's a guy that he knew sitting out there with a fucking 1911. And my dad, instead of like drawing his gun because he knew the guy, he stops his car, he gets out, he goes, "Larry, what the fuck are you doing? Put the fucking gun down." He goes, "This motherfucker," he goes, "Put the gun down." Okay, so he drops the gun. He goes, "This motherfucker came over here. I was trying to sell him some fucking drugs, and he fucking robbed me. He's from the cities. I got his license plate." He's like, "Larry, no.
Yeah.
What? No."
Yeah.
He's like, "Were you shooting the gun?" He's like,
drugs, and he just says all that, so I shot him. Yeah.
Well, no, he's like, he started shooting at me, so I shot back, and my dad's like, no, that's not how this goes. Like, come on, what
Sounds
are you doing? And yeah, it was fucking ridiculous, but a gunfight going on in a small town, like.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
that's just a common thing. I've seen gunfights before. Mostly because I now live in a place where they're fairly common.
Right, but you haven't seen a gunfight until you've seen an actual Trailer Park Boys-esque gunfight in a trailer park in the rural part of the United States. Like,
no, I haven't seen one of those yet. No.
Yeah, and it's just fucking insane. But
it's a great show, though.
Yeah, it's one of my dad's crazy. He just gets like, "Larry, what the fuck are you doing?" And Larry's holding the gun, a loaded gun that he just shot at somebody with. My dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Says, "I just tried to sell him drugs, and he robbed me."
Yeah, he came over here. I was just trying to sell him some fucking whatever. Because he like thought he could be honest with my dad. My dad's like, "No, dude, you're this not a good
You're
night.
going to
like,
jail."
Yeah, like, get the fuck over here. Like,
God damn, some people, I tell you, God. But I like how like you could see their production cost in like the early seasons is so low.
It was so much better though. It
They're
was
like,
so
yeah,
much
it
better.
was so much better. I agree, but like their like airsoft guns didn't even like reciprocate.
Yeah,
It
it
had
was
no
so bad.
recoil or anything. Yeah, because it's Canada. So, but
Yeah, and it's
they
like,
can't
yeah,
even
that's
have prop guns.
well, that honest to God, the first time I watched Trailer Park Boys, I couldn't get through the first episode. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, no.
The
And
first
then,
episode's a little rough. Yeah.
yeah, one of my friends was like, just watch it because it'll explain a lot. Just let's watch it together.
Yeah.
And so we watched it, and I did not know that it was a TV show until like the fourth episode, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look right.
It looks like Cops. It looks like it's filmed.
Yeah,
like
it looks like an
Cops
actual
almost. Yeah.
documentary because it's so shitty.
Yeah,
It's
it is
so
so
shitty.
bad. Yeah. Well, they had like one camera guy for like the first season.
Right, and it was so bad, and it's like, I literally, I'm like, wow, this, they must be up in Canada. He's like, yeah, Halifax, and I'm like,
Yeah, Nova Scotia.
this is like the same exact shit as like Arkansas or rural Wisconsin trailer park. I'm like,
I mean,
why
it's
am I
not
watching
far
this? I'm like, this is so like real. And he's like, well, it's a TV show that was popular in Canada. And I'm like Cops. He goes, oh no, this is like not, it's not real. And I'm
This
like,
is like fantasy. Yeah.
I was like, what?
This is Hollywood. Yeah.
What? And he's like, he had to convince me, and I'm like watching it. I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right. But it was so like believable because again, I grew up with people. I had friends in trailer parks when I was growing up, and
Were they also selling drugs and shooting 1911s at people?
Their parents were.
Okay, fair. So Larry had kids, is what you're saying?
No, Larry was an older guy.
Oh,
and he never got into the meth, but he was selling like fucking weed and other just dumb shit like pills and whatnot that he'd find. But it was like, so I grew up like hanging out with kids, riding my bike over to the bad side of the town, and my parents were like, well, you can't really hang out with this guy because his parents, your dad deals with him a lot, and I'm like, well, but so is a nice kid.
People.
Yep. And I hung out with like the worst possible kids you can imagine. My parents had to like do damage control and convince me that I couldn't hang out with them. And I'm like, but I like hanging out with him. He likes army stuff. We played G.I. Joes together. What the fuck, And like, yeah, it was insane growing up. And then, yeah, when I moved down to like my parents, or where we live now, or my parents live now, when I was like 11, I was like, oh, okay.
That makes sense
get it.
now. It all finally clicks. They're like, God, those kids were pieces of shit, and their families were pieces of shit. Yeah.
Well, but it was funny because that didn't stop me because I had a friend that I knew before I moved, and he was from down here, but we used to hang out, and then he was like, yeah, I've got a bunch of G.I. Joes at my dad's house. And I'm like, oh, fucking cool. And like, eventually I got clearance to go to his dad's place, and my dad ran a criminal background check on him. He's like, oh, he's got a couple fishing violations, but that's it. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, a couple fishing violations. That's probably not.
Oh yeah. So it turns out like, because it was awesome going over to my friend's house when I was a kid. Like, he lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere out here by a lake, which is awesome. And he had a nice like 90s built house. It was new at that point because it was like 2002-ish, 2001, 2002.
So just a few years old, yeah.
Right. It was nice. And it was like, oh, this is fucking cool. And his dad was like, yeah, do whatever you want, man. I got the whole basement. You guys can stay down there. I'll sit up, and we went up in his place, and he liked the Green Bay Packers a lot. And so he was up there watching football all the time. Well, it turns out that it was awesome to hang out there because we had G.I. Joes in the basement. He had a fucking PlayStation 2 right when it came out.
God.
And we were playing
high life.
Dude, we were playing Vice City until we were drinking fucking soda, Mountain Dew. We were playing Vice.
Right on Mountain Dew, playing Vice City until 2
Dude, we played Vice City. We get sick of that. We go play G.I. Joes. He had a fucking vehicle for his. He had all the G.I. Joes that I always wanted, but were too expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is awesome. And like the whole fucking living room floor was a mattress. So like he just slept there. And it was like fucking awesome. And we'd get food. Like his dad always had plenty of food that we could just make. Chef Boyardee, fucking good stuff like
nobody
we
wants to admit that they got drunk and ate 10 cans of ravioli.
Right. We go out to the fridge. You have mini corn dogs. We throw them in the oven downstairs. Whole kitchen. It was fucking awesome. And one time I went out to get corn dogs and I moved something because I couldn't find them. And I see these big fucking bags of just white stuff. And I'm like, I like touched it. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm trying to move them, to see if the corn dogs are below that. And it's like, it's all white bags below that. And I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck is this? I'm like, why is your dad storing like ice in there? And he's like, huh? And I'm like, so he looked at it and he's like, I don't know why he's doing that. It's what, because he didn't know either. He's like, why is he storing ice in there? Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, there's the corn dogs. Cool. Fucking A. Throw the oven on. Let's throw these bitches onto a fucking baking tray.
Yep.
Throw them in the oven. And so we did this multiple times. And one time I was there for like 3 days. It was a fucking awesome weekend. It was like a holiday thing. Or it might have been during the early summer. Who knows? School might have been out. And we got the bright idea because like he had a bunch of pellet guns and we were shooting shit with it, and we could shoot pellet guns anywhere, and I couldn't do that in town, and it was like awesome. And we got the bright idea. He had a street light that the power line came into, and he had an actual like street light with a HID bulb in there, 400 watt. Now that I look back on it, and we were like, oh, how fun would this be? And so I started shooting it, and the glass broke, and it came down. It was like, well, his dad saw us doing this, and he got unusually pissed off. Like parents of other people,
because that's going to bring the cops to his front door.
Well, no, it wasn't that. So we did that, and his dad got so fucking pissed. Like I've had other kids' parents get pissed off at me before, and it's like not like this. He screamed home in his Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was like a green one, and he screamed home, brought me home, screamed, "Get your fucking shit! Get all your fucking shit!" Whatever. Screams, and I go in the back seat, and my friend is back there, and he's looking at me like this, like just, And so we're taking curves on backcountry roads on lakes that are like 35 miles an hour, and that's being very lenient on the speed that you can take these curves at. He's going 80 miles an hour in a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We're almost flipping, and I'm like, oh, shit. Whew. Oh, shit. Okay, whatever. And he's screaming at me the whole fucking time. And all of a sudden, he starts screaming at my friend. He goes, "You're your mom. If she wasn't such a fucking cunt, we'd still be married. And this fucking cunt, like, blah, blah, blah." And
just taking his anger out on everything, yeah.
Oh, my God. But I didn't realize what was happening at the time. We get back in town by the grace of God, and he's asking me directions to get my parents' place, and I'm like, take this road, yep. Going through town at like 80 when it's like a 25, it's like fucking 90-degree turns. And we get back in the driveway, and he coasts down, goes in the driveway, goes, "All right, buddy, I'm mad at you, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I should have done that." Yeah. He goes, "All right, buddy, take it easy." It's like, grab my shit.
Probably high as a kite, and he sobered up just then.
No. Well, you're on the right track. So I get out and I go home, and my parents are like, "Why are you home?" And I'm like, "I just missed you guys, blah, blah, blah." And yeah, so he was high as a fucking kite on cocaine. Yeah. And he was also dealing it. He was the #1 cocaine distributor in that area.
Yeah.
And they finally nailed him a couple years later, because I was in baseball with my friend, and our relationship was a little bit shaky after that. Because I'm like, well, yeah, that wasn't cool, And so we're in baseball practice one day, and he gets pulled over. Not pulled over, but like they bring him over to the side to talk to his mom and a cop. And they talk to him and everything, and like whatever. And he's packing up his shit. And I went over. I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" He goes, "My dad's going to prison." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The feds got him for, I don't know, drugs. I don't know, man." And like we later found out, yeah, his dad was
cocaine dealer.
His dad got like 15 years, so he's probably out now.
Yeah, probably back dealing cocaine again. Probably upgraded to meth.
Well, why would you downgrade to meth?
I mean, that's fair. Meth It's the big money maker. We all know that.
But so it's like we figured that out, and then everybody at school found out. I didn't tell anybody, but like everybody at school found out, and then he was kind of like an outcast. It's like, well, how the fuck is that? His fault. But
It's not his
I
fault.
used it against him. I used it against him when he didn't want to be my friend anymore. I'm like, well, at least my dad wasn't dealing fucking cocaine. He did get put in prison,
Yeah, that you know of. Maybe your dad just got away with it because he was also a cop.
He was also
it's
smarter
Wisconsin.
than his dad.
To be fair.
Not. Oh my god! And then so after all that happened, I told my parents what happened that day. They're like, "Why didn't you tell us that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I was fucking terrified. I was terrified of the repercussions. Like,
yeah, and
I didn't
also,
want my friend to get
supposed to know what fucking cocaine is?
Right, and I'm like, I don't know what it was, and like, I didn't want my friend to get the fuck beat out of him.
Yeah,
for no reason, and it was So that's definitely that's a memory I have, and it was like, oh, looking back on it, I'm like, that was in a really dangerous spot because there was always people coming to his dad's house, but they'd use the stairs to go right upstairs, which he had. Yeah. They would never come down in the basement, which is why he told us to stay the fuck down there, which was fine because it was fun.
That way you didn't know what was going on, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just his friends over, like his friends watching the game, and they'd watch the game. They'd do a couple lines. He'd sell them the fucking kilo. These were big bags too. These were like big bags. He'd sell them a kilo, and then they'd do a couple lines, watch a game for a bit, and then the guy would leave.
He'd take his $2,000, $3,000, and get out of there.
Well, cocaine at that point was a lot more expensive than that. We're talking like 10, 15 grand for a kilo at that point.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was going on around me with one of my friends. So that's the kind of people I hung out with when I was a kid, which is not good having your dad being a cop, hanging out with people like that, because nothing ever came of that. So
that's probably why you had a PS2.
And all the GI Joes that my parents could not afford, but his could.
All
his
the
dad could.
Money.
Because I knew his mom too and his stepdad, and they were like, just like my parents, they were like lower middle class, just above working class, not poor, but not like well off. And so when I go to his mom's house, it was like, okay, it's a different vibe, and we go out and talk to his deaf stepbrother, who his mom was married to this guy, and he was okay, but like his kid like was deaf, and so that's where I learned a little bit of ASL was from that kid. And it was funny as fuck because we used to go out and play at night, and his vision was so fucking good that we play hide and seek.
Yeah.
And me and my friend would be talking
to basically has night vision.
Right. We'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. All right, cool. I'll cover you. And do all this shit. We'd be able to like move, and then all of a sudden this kid would fucking see us. He'd be like, he'd make a noise and like point, and it's like, well, fuck. Okay, yeah, I'm here. Like you saw me. How the fuck did that happen?
Because he's superpowers. He's got superpowers because he can't hear.
Yeah, he could see everything at night. It was fucking insane. But yeah, so that's why I learned a little bit of ASL. I learned, swear words mostly.
Yeah, well, obviously, the first thing you want to learn when you learn anything.
Yeah, so that was cool. But no, I hung out with a lot of really weird people when I was younger. I still talk to some of them.
How's Cocaine Guy doing?
Oh, he grew dreadlocks. He's a redhead and he grew dreadlocks, and he's like he was like, I'm sure if I talked to him now I'd be fine, but I haven't talked to him in years.
Be like, how's your dad doing? Is he still in prison?
No, I'm not gonna be that big of a dick.
No, that wasn't. You never know. He could have got in, stayed in longer for stabbing some guy or something.
No, I would never. The guy did not deserve that. Like my friend, he didn't deserve. He doesn't. He still doesn't. Maybe he does, but like I still wouldn't fucking do that. But it's definitely some interesting fucking people. One of the kids. Oh my god. So how long have we been going? You good for another story?
Oh yeah, we can do this.
So there was this kid when I was growing up that was from a family who was notorious for being just typical like 90s white trash shitbags. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it, but their kids were all completely fucked.
Well, I mean, growing up in that environment, can you blame them?
Right. And the parents, they partied all the time. They didn't give a shit about their kids, and typical 90s
Yep.
upbringing, you know? So this one kid, I was always told to stay away from. And I did until like the summer of 90. Hold on. 99.
99.
I started hanging around this kid. And I was 8 years old at that point. He was 9 years old. And we were hanging out, just walking around town because it was a small town. And he'd be smoking cigarettes at 9 years old.
I mean, sounds fine. What's wrong with that?
And at that point, my parents were, no, this might have been, no. This was early 2000. I'm sorry. This was early 2000.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why later. Because some songs were on the radio that you'll recognize. And I started hanging around it. And my parents at that point had bought a house that was a block away from our place that somebody sold, and it was trashed. It was a cool house, but it was trashed.
Yeah.
And they were going to flip it. Before that became popular, they were going to flip it. And so me and this kid decided, hey, let's go have a fucking fun day at this house that my parents are, working on, but they're not going to be there today. And I'll show you around and have fun. And I want a cigarette. I want to learn how smoking goes, at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I was 9 at that time. Yep. So I was 9 and he was 10. And so we sit in there and we go through his entire pack. I'm not inhaling him. He is. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And I'm showing him around the house and we're like, let's have a fucking party here. Just you and me. Right. And he's like, well,
A
I'm
party
almost out
with
of
just two people?
Yeah, I'm out of cigarettes, And I'm like, well, can't you get more from your parents? He's like, nah, they're going to catch me. And so we decided to walk uptown, which is 3.5 blocks. Not city blocks. We're talking rural country blocks.
Which is a long ways, yeah.
Well, no, they're shorter than city blocks. They're half a mile. They're not a mile.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, they're a quarter mile, not a half
I was going to
mile.
say, I thought they were a quarter mile. I thought a block was a quarter mile.
Well, yeah, but they were like half the size of a city, like an actual city block.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. But I think they are. And we walk up to the local grocery store that's where you get your groceries. And he told me, he's like, all right, here's how we're going to do this. They have their cigar rack set up by the cash register, but it's not behind it. So you need to go talk to these people. We'll pay 50 cents for a pack of gum or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them while they're all distracted. He said he was going to steal the cigars. Swisher Sweets. And so it worked. I distracted him and he grabbed 3 packs of them, threw it in his pocket. And I paid for the gum or whatever the fuck I bought. Something just, but it was I always went up there and bought tiny shit because I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And so it was
That's
nothing
not out of the ordinary.
Right. And so we walk out, we go back to this house, we start lighting up these Swisher Sweets. And then we're ashing all over the fucking house, which is dumb. So you see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in the back room, they had all the tiles set out that they were going to put in the back room, in the kitchen, and in the bathroom. Well, on the back side of those tiles is this really thin paper. Okay, that releases exposes the adhesive.
Adhesive, so you could stick it to the floor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And my parents had paid a lot of money for those. So what we did is we're sitting there smoking Swisher Sweets, and he's like, "Wouldn't it be cool if we had a fire out back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it'd be fucking cool." And so we start tearing these fucking pieces of paper off because he's like lighting one and it would just
Yeah, because it's full of fucking adhesive.
Right. And so we made a big pile of this shit out back. Meanwhile, we were taking the tiles and just throwing them on a big stack of each other. Sticking them all together. And we got through maybe 200 tiles and we're having this massive fire in the back. We're smoking Swisher Sweets. I just put mine out, thank Christ, because then one of my dad's friends who was helping us flip the house had just happened to stop by there because he saw smoke.
Yeah.
And he came around back and he saw us and he goes, "Oh no. Oh no." And my dad was working that day in town and he was there very lickety split and told the other kid to get the fuck home now. And my dad dragged me by my fucking hair, like grabbed my head and dragged me. My feet were dragging on the ground. It wasn't like I was walking.
Yeah.
He dragged me a full fucking block through people's yards back to our house, threw me inside, and told my mom, he's like, he is fucking grounded until further fucking notice from everything. Nothing. And my mom's like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And I cowered up to my room because my head hurt really bad. And we had almost burned the house down. We had killed about, almost $1,000 worth of tiles.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say, those were not cheap, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and we had trashed the house. We had ashes everywhere, like things that the house should have caught on fire, but it didn't. And that was my parents. I've never seen them so pissed off at me, but rightfully so.
Yeah.
And my dad really just generally didn't give a fuck about me, like discipline-wise. But him, like, to drag me back a fucking full
was
block.
Like enough of a message to be like, you fucked up hard.
Yeah, and that was the last time I talked to that kid.
Fair. I never had anything weird like that happen to me. I was the good kid. My sister was the bad kid. And,
well, I was a good kid too. Like after that, I was definitely the good kid.
But like, I never did anything like that ever in my entire life. Like that. Like, I would wander off just be gone for like days at a time, but I was never doing anything bad. I was just like sleeping in the woods and shit, and stuff. I never did anything like bad. My sister did, but I would get blamed for a lot of shit.
Yeah, and it's
and so like my mom always thought that I was like the bad kid because I was like
you were
smart older kid, because my sister's younger than me. So she's like, your sister's not fucking smart enough to do any of that, so it's obviously your fault. And it's like, well, thanks for calling her retarded for one and getting me in trouble, And then it wasn't until, like I told you, till Thanksgiving last year, I went down to visit her at her new house. And we're having, like, a bunch of drinks. I'm plastered out on my mom's big, like, 4-season porch. And I'm in her, like, inflatable hot tub in my swim trunks, sitting there drinking on my, like, 7th drink. And my sister's smoking with my mother. And they're listening to the radio around their little, like, propane campfire thing. And she's telling Mom all of the shit that she did as a kid that was horrible, that like to this day my mom thought was my fault. And like, an hour into this, and I'm just jamming out to the music, sitting in the hot tub, not a care in the world. And my mom looked over at me, and like after she realized that I got in so much trouble for shit that I didn't do as a kid, And I was like, yeah, see, told you for years that I'm the fucking good kid, and you never believed me.
The good son. You'll just snap later in life. That's what you're gonna do.
I'm glad that she finally came to that realization that I never did literally anything. So
well, you also had a sibling that would blame you. I was an only child, so it's like
I did at that point, and we used to just beat the snot out of each other. So
right, and that's it's pretty hold on, excuse. I felt that coming, and I was like, "Wait a second." So, yeah, but like that is literally probably the worst shit that I ever did.
Fair.
And that was just being a really dumb kid mixed with a really white trash. Oh, by the way, that kid is in prison now for molesting children. So,
I mean, that's just everyone in Wisconsin. We're fine.
Right, but he's only a year older than me.
Oh well, I mean, it's still just Wisconsin, so it's fine.
Yeah, he's in prison. I think for almost life.
Ooh, you got to do a lot of kid diddling to get almost life.
Yeah, he was like very, very.
Because normally you can like plead down to like almost nothing on that, but that guy's like If you
he
got caught touching a lot of kids and you got nearly life, you had to touch a lot of kids.
right. And that's what my dad said. Like when I was older, he's like, "Oh yeah, you remember your buddy so and so?" I'm like, "It wasn't my buddy, but yeah." He goes, "Yeah, he's going to prison for a long fucking time because of this, and this." Show me the newspaper article, and I'm like, "Oh wow, that does not surprise me at all."
Not in the slightest.
So that was interesting. But like, hey, that's the shit I grew up with. Like it happened, and
Yeah, at least you didn't turn out to be a ne'er-do-well.
oh, and by the way, okay, so the radio song that I because
I want to know what song it was. The classic.
So they had a radio playing, and it was I forgot the station that was on. They were playing like the modern hits and everything. And I remember like when we were at our peak, like during this whole thing, like just having fun before the tiles and everything. Cher's Believe came on.
Oh my god.
And it was like we were cranking that shit. He's like, I usually listen to Rob Zombie and White Zombie and shit like that, but yeah, I mean this is okay.
Good song.
Yeah.
God damn. That's how you know it's classic, the classic late 90s, early 2000s.
Right. And so whenever I hear that song, I'm like, that's where it takes me back to initially, and I'm like, ooh. Fun day until it wasn't. Old. Yeah, fun day until it wasn't. And then my parents actually, like, that was the only time they actually followed through with, like, that whole summer, I was not allowed any contact whatsoever with people. But here's the good thing is, that's where I learned how to be alone and be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you gotta have
myself.
That self-reflection period.
Yeah, because even the friends that, like, I annoyed and, like, you know, I always wanted to hang out with them because I didn't have any siblings, and I was like, I just want siblings. I want to be around somebody. Well, even they started calling my parents, and they're like, nope, he's grounded.
Really?
Damn.
Yep. Yeah, back in the day when you had to call somebody and ask permission for them to come out and play. God, that makes me feel old again, too.
Yeah. You had to call them on the phone, and, like, usually their parents answered, and you'd be like, yo, so-and-so here. Yep. And then so-and-so would be like, oh, I've got to do some family stuff tonight. I got plans. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Yep. Something else.
But yeah, it's like but yeah, that's what it was. And it was like it was the full summer until I went to school, and then they started lightening it up.
Jeez. You lost a whole summer. I mean, rightfully so, but
actually it might not have been it might have been 1999, who knows. It was one of those 2 years, but like I was not old at that point. I was like fucking a kid. Like I was not fucking a kid. I was fucking like a kid.
I mean,
like
you said it.
I was a kid. Yeah, I know. Somebody's gonna say that clip and be like, "Well, you just admit you fucks kids as a kid." Like it doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
we did just agree that people from Wisconsin do that. So I mean,
I never did.
Well, you didn't also deny it. So I mean.
Yeah. You can also deny being gay at any point in time. So
well, I mean, I try to maintain this aura of metrosexuality. To
right.
Keep people,
so there again,
people guessing. You know, so.
But yeah, so that was the 90s going into the 2000s for me. Doing that, and then after that, it was like my head hurt for many days after that hair was pulled that hard. Yeah, being dragged by your hair is not fun. It's not.
I learned real early on you want to have kind of shorter hair because of that.
Well, he would have still found something to grab. He was that pissed off. Well, and rightfully so. Like, I'm not blaming my dad or claiming like abuse at that point.
Yeah.
He didn't beat me at that point, which was very surprising. You know, it was like that, you know, but it's like, yeah, it's
that's
Jesus Christ. But I mean, that was so deserved. Like that was fucked up. Like looking back, even now, I'm like, oh God, that was bad. But at least that's the point where I was like, yeah, this path leads to consequences I don't like. So I'm going to try to go to this path.
Try to not be a piece of shit from now on. Fair.
Yep, and that's probably why I'm not in prison, is because I followed the righteous path.
Fair. But at least you got in trouble for like stuff you actually did. I can't tell you how many times my mom would like fucking pitch a glass ashtray at me because I didn't fucking do anything. How the fuck am I supposed to know what I did wrong at like 7 and 8 years old if I fucking didn't do anything wrong? but you're just getting yelled at for shit you didn't do. And then she pitches a damn ashtray at you, and a glass ashtray's got a lot of mass when you're 7.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you hear all these older people who are like, back in my day, you got the fucking belt and whatever. It's like, well, you think that shit just stopped? Because the people that you gave the belt to fucking
hit their
did
kids.
shit.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
like they did shit
It
till they
has to
carried on.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. And it's like, ooh. But, and then,
Well, to be fair, my mom grew up in the Soviet Union, so like.
Yeah, a little bit harsh.
Yeah, so their whole society's a bit harsh.
I only got spanked, like actually, like when I say spank, I'm not talking like a slap on the ass, you know, like a ouch. I only got spanked hard once, and I deserved that one too. It was again the same town, the same little shit town. They were digging these like there's a name for them, but like these drains that were in people's yards that they would dig out and then fill with rock. And so, like, the roads wouldn't flood if there was a huge storm, right?
Yeah, they would drain properly, yeah.
Well, I forgot what the fuck it was called. We have one in our yard, too, and the city did this. And they were digging one, like, a block and a half away from us. And they had it, like, barricaded off, but not well, you know? It's, like, fucking small town America.
It's got, like, cotton tape and cones.
Right. And so I brought myself and my friend, who I'm still in contact with, over to that hole, and I'm like, look at how deep that is. Look at how deep that is. And it was like, we're talking like 20, 30 feet down, where it's like, if I go down there, I'm not getting out, you know? And it's like straight walls, like whatever. And then we're going to fill it the next day, but like we caught it that day. And so we did this in like early afternoon, right when we got out of school, or mid-afternoon, sorry. And my dad caught us, and he's like, because he was working, and he's like, nope. He's like, okay, do not ever go near one of these holes ever. Like, you were way too close. You crossed the boundary. Like, do not do that. Like,
they could like fall inwards or like wash in or something. Yeah.
Well, if I fell down there, I'd break something, you know?
Well, yeah,
like,
it's like 3 stories.
Yeah. And so he's like, do not go anywhere near this. Like, not cool. Right. He drove us home in the squad car, dropped us off, and it was like, okay. And my friend's like, that was a really cool hole. And I'm like, yeah, it was. Let's go back. Let's throw shit in it. And we waited a while until my dad was like uptown, you know, and everything. Like he was away. And we go back there. And we're throwing rocks down it and shit. And like, oh, this is cool. And we're like laying on it, like kneeling, like could have fallen in easily, you know?
Yeah.
And my dad had told my mom about this, and the neighbor caught us. The neighbor caught us and was like, get away from the hole, whatever, and all that. Brought us home and told my mom where we were at. And my mom yelled at us, and then we went back. Well, that time my dad caught us again, like later on. This was like right before the streetlights came on. And my dad caught us, and he brought my friend home, said, get out. We went home, and my dad fucking bare ass paddled my ass for like a good 20 minutes straight.
Jesus.
Like we're talking, I mean, he went overboard, right? And he knew that later, but like my ass was purple.
Ooh, like it hurt to sit down type of bad. Yeah.
I couldn't even walk, you know? And it was like, oh, my mom was sitting there just watching, you know, because she at the time was like, this is deserved, you know, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, like, it got to a point, and she's like, okay, that's
like
enough.
10 minutes into it, and it's like, stop.
She's like, that's enough. And then he kept going, and I'm just like screaming. And I got to the point where it was numb.
Yeah.
And I stopped screaming. I just kind of like went to a half pass out phase. And then she was like yelling at my dad, like, stop it. He goes, he needs to fucking learn, you know, and just bam. And Jesus. I'm like, oh my God. And so it was done. And then I don't remember how it finished, but then they were yelling at each other. And then I go upstairs, barely hobbling up the stairs, go to my room, try to lay down on my bed. And I'm like, I can't do this. I lay down on my fucking stomach.
Yeah.
And it was still just my ass is just boom, 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 the throbbing.
Yep, you can feel the like your heartbeat. Oh. Yeah, the bruising, I'm sure.
But here's the cool thing is I never fucking disobeyed them again when they told me not to do something after the first time.
Fair.
So that's the thing with the house thing, like I just told you about. That was only a one-time thing. They
Yeah.
told me not to
You
do it,
only had to do something once.
but I also had to learn the hard way, and that still holds true today.
Fair.
Like,
Fair.
but it was that was insane. And it was like nowadays he would be putting fucking cuffs and everything, but it's like, hey, guess what? He taught me to not fucking do that. And
Well, yeah.
I didn't.
Also, back in the day, that was just discipline still.
Right.
Like, I think the closest thing I ever did to that was like my parents were working on the kitchen, like doing something. And my mom was trying to do something. My dad was wherever at that point. And she was asking me for help, but obviously I don't want to help her because she's kind of a bitch and she treats me like shit. And so she's like, hey, you want to help me with this? I'm like, no, I really don't want to help you with this. And I'm like 13 at this time or 14. So real teenager-esque.
Oh, yeah.
You know, real like
doing it.
I own the damn world. I'm 13, you know.
Fuck yeah.
You know, got that bravado to me. And she's like, you want to help me? And I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking help you. And I just kept walking. And she drilled me with like a rubber mallet. Right between the shoulder blades from like 10 feet away. I thought I was paralyzed.
Yep. Get the wind knocked out of you.
On the spine, like right between the shoulder blades. And I
get
just
the wind knocked out of you and shit, right?
Down. Just down on the floor. And I was like, yeah, just like sucking at the air. She just literally, and she's got these weird skills that like I don't know where she learned them, but it like scares the shit out of me. She's always been like an obscenely good handgun shooter. I'm not. I don't know where she learned how to shoot a handgun, but she's like scary good at it.
Some people can just do it. Yep.
Same thing with like throwing knives and crap like that. She knew the exact rotation to hit me with a fucking rubber mallet she's probably sung twice in her life while I'm moving. That scares the shit out of me. Like stuff that she just knows. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Yeah. Just drilled me right in the spine with this rubber mallet though. And it was like, Jesus Christ. So my mom might be a sleeper cell. People keep telling me that. So,
could be. But yeah, it's insane. Like, it's insane that like the abuse. Like, I would never do this shit to my kids, right? Like, I would never go that far.
No, I would never be like, oh, my 13-year-old kid doesn't want to help me do some stupid thing I could probably do by myself. I'm not going to tomahawk a hammer at him.
Right? No,
you know?
it's there's other ways to deal with it, but like, here's the thing: is the difference between, I guess, because like the abuse that we experienced. It was like half of what the previous generations experienced.
Yeah, well, clearly, like, you know, my mom used to talk about like what her parents used to do to her, and I'm like, that's
full on beatings. Just
that's torture. That's literal torture. You know,
put you in like
but I also knew exactly what I did, and I never thought it was like abuse. I'm like, I know I fucked up, and I deserve this.
Exactly the same that I like. Because they didn't just pull this out at any. It wasn't like just, you know.
No, it wasn't like they're just beating you for no reason.
No, it was like
I was getting beat for no reason that I knew of, but the reason was because there was a reason, but it wasn't anything I did.
Right, which is another issue. But like,
you know
what I mean? Like, it was like the times you actually get your ass handed to you.
Yeah, but when like I fucked up and I knew I fucked up, it's like, well, you know, I deserve this.
Even though it's overdone, and you realize that later, you're like, well, I still didn't do that again.
That's fair. I didn't do that again.
I didn't do that again.
I learned to just not be around when stuff was happening. That was pretty great.
Yeah.
Cody's back.
Oh, the fucking weasel horse. Did I tell you I got a DNA test and I sent it in the other day?
Yeah, well, what is he? Did they tell you?
Well, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's a Canadian company. It's a Canadian company, so they take their fucking time. But hey,
well, I suppose it's got to get across the border and stuff. Yeah.
No, they have an office in New York. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, right across in New York. But no, we'll see. Like, if they say he's 50% weasel, 40% horse, and 10% deer, we're gonna go back to the shelter that we got him from and be like, we'll take him there and be like, so we paid for a dog. Okay?
Yeah, this is a weasel horse.
This is not a fucking dog. So can we work out something on the price?
Yeah. He's endangered. We'll sell him back to you for $2 million.
Well, no, we paid for a dog, but this is not a dog. So that's false advertising, correct?
Yeah.
Yes or
but
yes?
Also, he's endangered then, and you could sell him for tons of money, Mike.
Right, but that's the next step. Like, we're just gonna
Settlement money first, then endorsement money.
You were just outside. What are you doing? Are you just bored? And I'm
What's
talking and you
outside?
can't sleep?
Outside's
what you're
better
doing?
than in here.
Look at this fucking ear. Look at how long. That's obnoxiously long.
Well, yeah, it's a bat wing.
It's fucked.
Yeah. It's a bat wing. He needs that to fly.
What are you doing?
He wants attention.
Fucking weasel horse.
The weasel horse. Selling endangered animals isn't illegal, Kong, as long as you don't get caught.
Well,
And to be fair, the shelter sold Mike an endangered animal.
yeah, so they're actually liable.
That's right.
So I haven't done anything wrong, yes or yes? Like, I haven't done anything wrong.
No, you haven't done anything wrong. I think you're scot-free because you technically paid for a dog.
Right? And this fucking thing is clearly not a dog. Like,
Look at that.
Look at this shit. It's insane.
Bat wings.
It's insane.
Cody.
You hear this?
Is he doing his little whines?
No, I'm flopping his ear and it really is loud.
No.
Well, that was a cool stream. We got to get some of our childhood trauma out
of the way, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really trauma. It was just kind of like, it is what it is.
Mine might be trauma. I don't know.
Oh, well, this is the spotting of the tip of the iceberg at night for my childhood trauma, which is why I'm the way I am. But like, yeah, it's pretty funny. It's just times are different, and I don't know. I think I'm more successful now because I got a couple ass beatings, like deserved ones, and it's like, well, that actually helped me later on in life go, well, everybody else is fucking up this bad, I'm gonna just refrain from this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
I'll
this
still
anymore.
fuck up.
Yeah. Fair.
I'll still fuck up. I'll be better at not getting caught.
Exactly. Yeah, that criminal mastermind side of you comes out.
Right.
So fair.
Thing. Fucking weasel.
The weasel.
Yeah, I think we're at almost 2 hours, and you probably got to go to bed.
I do. Tomorrow's actually the first day I don't need to get up early for work this week.
Well, shit.
Yeah. So it's been basically 2 and 3 o'clock all week. I've been getting. So like this morning, I got up at I think it was like 2:15 this morning.
Well, I mean, if you want to keep streaming, we can go. I just got to pee and then let the fucking.
Sure, we can go for a little bit. We can round it off to 2 hours at least.
Yeah. Why are you whining? Like,
because he can. Because he can.
He's a fucking weasel horse.
He is a weasel horse. A weasel.
God,
horse.
He's giving me the fucking look. Like, I wish. He's got his ears out completely fucking straight. You see that?
Yep. I need stuff.
And he'll just go outside and bark at like random leaves that are on the ground, like fucking.
Well, they move. To be fair,
he's not hungry. He just fucking ate. He's just being an attention whore piece of shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, you spoil him. You don't spoil him. I mean, you as a congenitive unit that lives in that house spoil him.
Well, yeah, and then I'm always the bad guy. So I'm covering both of your eyes and one ear. Like that should say something. That's fucked. All right, I'll be back.
So we could sleep. So we could sleep in the dark. What? In the dark. He can make his own dark. Yeah, the leaves need to be barked at. No, Cody's not hungry. He's just always that tiny. He's just always that tiny for some reason. Ugh. Gotta clean up some of my mess. Oh God. Oh, have a nice stretch. It's always nice. It's good to be out of that stuff. It's hot. It's hot as fuck in here, and I got a fancy remote for my air conditioner now. Moving on up in the world. So Damn. Well, if it was a state job, I mean. Well, that's a question you have to ask Kong about what happened to the mustache. It's a question you have to ask Kong. You do got to get Pasgate covers. They're actually disappearing real quick. Pasgate covers are. They're going away. So. Snow? What about snow? Oh, I also gotta work on my project helmet here a little bit too later. Stuff to do. It's got to get a new cover and stuff here. Some other little odds and ends. This is the only like tactical type helmet I own. Good old ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. I've had this for forever, to be fair. To be fair. I've had this one for longer than I had my ECH actually. So, but it needs a new cover. Although they're good jazz. Why no? Oh, what different? At least it's not a fucking ops core. You know what I mean? At least it's not a goddamn ops core. I've probably had that helmet for 7 years now, 7 or 8 years. It's been a long time. I think I got it when I was like 19. I'm gonna be 27 in like 3 weeks. So it's been a while. It's been a while. I've had that thing. I've had that thing almost as long as I've had this thing. Look at this beast. Look at that tight cover. That cover is TIT tight on there. Bam. That's pretty hard to beat. I've got nods. I just don't really use them because they're fragile. And I don't really have a reason to use them. You know what I mean? So why would I? My fantastic CG634 that I put pads in and I tacticooled out. So, but like the nods don't really need to come out all that often. They're not just something I leave sitting around too. But those are my 2 project helmets that I'm hoping to get done here pretty soon. Pretty soon. So not sure which one I want to wear yet on the stuff when I go out to do the videos with Mike. You know, not sure which ones I want to wear. Yeah, it's a CG634 that the liner was after it, so I put the little Velcro discs and put pads in it. Still has a CG634 chin strap. It's actually a really comfortable, really nice helmet. And then the Cry airframe is just an awesome Cry airframe. Breathes really good.
God damn this
I have no idea on the Polish stuff. Also, the one guy wants to know, Mike, can he pay $5 and be in the Discord for forever?
for a month. It does it automatically.
Yep. Blam. One whole month.
My shirt's a lot fucking better than yours. Just throwing that out there.
Mine has all of the Swiss bolts, the Swiss straight pull bolt actions. The 89, the 9611, and the K31.
Mine has everything that matters to survive nowadays.
Fake business?
You have no idea what that is, and I'm not going to fucking tell you.
I don't know what it is.
Do you notice that the logo is a little bit familiar? Oh, because you don't know anything about that. So, just because you're Canadian, like you should have heard about it, but like it.
I've never heard about it. So. Well, that's not true.
Well, you didn't
My
spell it right,
Discord
so now
also cycles out the people that once they stop paying. So
the what?
my Discord also cycles out the people once they stop paying. So if you pay like $1 to get into the Discord,
Yeah, but you're
whatever,
a cheaper whore. You're a
it'll kick
cheaper
you
whore.
out. Well, they're I just let them pay whatever they want. Most
Well,
people
so do I,
decide,
but like,
yeah,
there's a reason. There's a reason I have a threshold, and I've explained this reason to you, and you were like, "Yeah, I get it." Like,
yeah, it's to limit the bunch of cheap people that are coming in. They're going to ask a bunch of stupid questions.
no,
and
they're not
it
going to
weeds
ask
out
them
a lot
stupid
of it.
questions. They're just going to troll, and they're
Yeah.
going to be like,
Well, I'm not big enough
ridiculous.
to have any of that yet, but most of my people
Well,
are
I'm not big
paying,
enough either, but I tried it
paying
and it
more
works.
than $1. So, well, a couple of them, anyways.
Do you know that Fudbusters Matt has got way more Patreon supporters than I do, and he just started his channel like a year ago, if that.
Well, he's also a lawyer, so
He's more professional
he is very professional. He's a lawyer. He better be goddamn
in his
professional. He's
videos.
a lawyer.
He's a
So,
piece of shit in real life. Like, let's be honest.
I mean, he seems like a cool guy, and he's got a really impressive set of facial hair.
Well, I think he should fucking get rid of it because he looks better without it. But
I don't know. I
not
don't
being
think I've
totally
ever seen
gay.
him without his beard. So,
Well, I have, and he looks a lot better without it. But hey, who am I?
I mean, he does got to hold up that Florida man lifestyle, though.
Right.
Got to. But I'm happy with the like $50
I'm gonna
I
text
make.
him.
I'm happy with the $50 I make on Patreon. That's pretty nice. Helps out. So I got this lovely, beautiful 4K webcam.
Yeah, that's how I got a lot of the helmets we're going to be shooting. And the most recent one that I told you about.
It's going to be a cool one.
Yeah, that's
I'm
and
really
it's also
psyched about that one.
It's the more uncommon one.
Yes, it is, because they didn't make it for anywhere near as long. And also most of them are absolutely used into shit. They're gone.
Right, and this one's like, it's not gone, but it's like it's
used.
We'll do it.
But
we'll do
to
it.
be fair, they all are. Finding an unused one of those is like
right.
damn
It's
near
like
impossible.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna that one I'm actually curious about because of your fanaticism towards it. And I'll agree.
I got a lot of information on it. So,
dude, the shell itself, the shape is a lot better than the Pasget, I think.
It is. It was for the 90s.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time. You okay there?
Well, yeah, I'm just texting Matt, the piece of shit we were talking about. I guess we'll have him on for a bit. How about that? I'll just send him an invite really quick. We'll have the piece. He's in his mobile office, of course.
Oh, the mobile oppression palace.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll
talk to Matt for a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get that.
See what he knows in the great wide world of lawyering, fucking people for money.
He actually does the opposite of that as a lawyer, which is fucking unusual, but like, yeah.
Fucking people for money?
No, he actually works for people who have been fucked for money.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's still sex cash he's getting, so I mean.
Well, I mean, the government usually doesn't pay for forced sex, but that's just me.
I mean, well, I mean, what do you do? It's also the government.
You fight against it any way you can, small or big.
Fair. I mean, I'm not a fan of the government.
Well, it's a little bit better than your Vaterland, or actually, yours would be like the cousin land. Wouldn't even be the
Fatherland?
It's like cool enough to be like
name for Canada, the cousin.
Yeah, it's
land.
like it's not even the fucking like motherland or fatherland. It's like the cousin land. Like, yeah, we kind of care about it, but when we really think about her, she can go fuck herself.
It's like the step sibling. They have the same parents, but like one of them went off and got remarried.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, that's Canada. Like, she was divorced for a while, kind of. They were separated, and they finally finalized their divorce, and then they started dating other people, and it just never really worked out.
Yep.
And they rely on this really good friend they've had, this fuck buddy, but it's, there's nothing going to be serious ever.
New. Yeah, that's a
But they rely on it.
pretty good analogy for that, though.
Actually, yeah.
Step cousin. Oh God. Get another Chewski there.
Yep. Been limiting it. I spend less.
There you go. There you
Other
go.
desert camo covers for the M1. None official. There have been some made by government contractors.
Is, but not for America. America never made really
That's
a
what
lot
he's
of
talking
desert
about.
covers. Yeah.
And there were some that were made for Bright Star in the 80s, but like very few.
Very, not many, quite rare. So, but there is other desert helmet covers for the M1 from other countries.
From other countries. That's the key. Is like, yes, from other countries, sure.
Yep.
But the U.S., you're going to see some 6 colors that were officially made by government contractors in small batches. That's it.
Yep. I have a really cool one used by the Turks, actually. It's a 3-color desert M1 helmet cover.
Yeah, that would have been cool back in the day when we were
Turkish 3-color desert M1 helmet cover. Yeah, just paint the M1 tan, pretty much.
I mean, yes, I agree. The Iraqis, like when they got their M80s, they came green or olive drab.
Yeah,
and
the original M80, yeah, they came, green.
They painted them tan, and then when it would start to chip and fade, like the olive drab would come out a little bit underneath, and that made a really good fucking desert camo.
And not to mention that cool as fuck helmet cover that they had.
The salad with the net.
Yeah, that was also like a net and the salad all put together in that weird turquoise color.
You know what got me, and I never understood this, is like I have an example of a Polish M50 shell from the Iran-Iraq War, and both countries painted their helmets a literal turquoise color. And before you say it, yes, that can work in the desert with other colors, but like they painted their helmets that it's dark. It stands out against the fucking. But it's like, why did they do that? Like, it wasn't just Iraq. It wasn't just
all
Iran.
Over the Middle East, you see that turquoise color.
But why? Like, that alone is not a good desert color.
No, probably something to do with like the lighting.
But even all during the day, because like lighting in the desert, like in Iraq at least, where it's really intense, is like it changes about 6 times. I'm just estimating, but like the way light reflects off shit changes about 6 times during the day.
Yeah,
turquoise is a solid color, is not one of them.
No,
it can be an accent color
because it's consistent.
Jesus. Also, tan is consistent.
I mean, that's fair, but yeah. No, glue doesn't work in Tannenberg. I see those people and shoot them all the time.
Oh yeah, I can't wait till so my estimated delivery date for what I told you about.
Yeah.
The uniform is the middle of June.
Perfect.
So
perfect.
That's gonna be fucking. I'm so fucking stoked for that.
Yeah. And you already have all the stuff that goes with it. I mean,
the most basic. Yeah, I don't have the whole kit.
I was gonna say I don't think you have a lot of the equipment, but you have.
Well, no, I have all the leathers. I have
You do? Oh, okay.
I have a bread bag, but I need 2. I have a canteen.
But you need 2.
No, the bidon. No, they carried 1.
But what about the wine?
The what?
But what about the one for the wine?
It was mixed.
Yeah, but no, I thought they had one that was mixed and one that was just water.
No, they got rations and they would mix it. Yeah. No, they created 1 2-liter bidon. And Yeah. But they carry 2 bread bags. I have the M2 gas mask for my American kit. I have 1 bread bag for my American kit. I'll probably have to get another one, of course. And
I just like how
I've
their
al-
equipment was just a mess of fucking straps. Just
oh
everything went
yeah.
over your shoulders. It just
Oh fuck.
imagine
And then
having
like
to like get done to go to sleep. You're just like, I'll take this bag off, and I'll take this canteen off, and then I'll take this bag off, and then this bag,
right.
and then
And
this bag, and then my suspenders that hold my belt up.
the bayonet fucking goes through that strap on your fucking uniform, and it's like holy shit.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's so
complicated.
I'm very short of the basic uniform, which I'll probably end up getting once I get the real one or the rest of it, like the actual uniform itself. I've got never mind, I won't say that. I just want to surprise people because it's gonna be fucking awesome. And it's also gonna get to
I'm
me
pretty pumped
at the
about it.
height of the fucking heat of the summer, which is
Ooh,
gonna suck. Yep.
ooh, but it'll still be nice to see.
Hmm.
But you know, it might not be super hot by mid-June. I mean, it probably will be the way it's going, but you might get lucky and get a cooler.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a hot summer.
It's going to be a pretty hot summer. I mean, it was such a mild winter. I mean, it feels like it's going to be a pretty hot summer.
Well, it wasn't a mild winter. It was an average winter.
Yeah, but
It wasn't
long
mild by any
stretches of
means.
pretty mild.
Dude, you worked outside, so did I. It's like it's not. It was not a mild winter. It was an average winter.
I thought
It was fucking. It was fucking cold for a long time.
cold.
Like really cold. I'm not just saying like 20 degrees. Our spring has been mild. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've had
But-
no fucking water until like yesterday.
Right, and that's the thing is like I'm welcoming this shit because I planted my garden and it's like
we're really hurting for water here.
and my fruit trees too. I was gonna water them yesterday and I'm glad I didn't because I don't want to overwater them. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, I hope it rains more. We're supposed to get what, thunderstorms Sunday, Monday?
Yeah, well, Monday, Tuesday, from what I heard.
Okay, something like that. I knew Monday for sure. We need it.
Yeah.
We need the water really bad. We're gonna have a really, really dry summer otherwise.
Yeah, and it's like if it rains once a week at night, which it usually does in the good summers,
Yep.
or like even every couple weeks, it's like a couple days of whatever.
Yep.
We just need rain because our sun gets really hot. Like people think we're up north, and it's like always cold, and it's like no, in the summer it's really fucking hot,
Well,
very fucking hot.
To put this in retrospect, we're actually like the same degrees north as Venice, Italy.
Right, and it gets really hot and really humid. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, bad person.
Fuck you.
That's a great way to
that's a
fucking.
good person though.
Fuck you.
Oh well, I just tried to be nice.
You literally look like you're fucking like you just took over a fucking plane full of people with a box cutter. That's what you look like when you lean forward and we can see you.
Or you're about to mug somebody in a back alley.
Fuck you.
I can't see shit. My interior lights aren't working, so I can't make it any brighter.
Oh, what gave it away? The fact that it's black? Oh gosh.
Yeah, I was like talking to Devin and I was like joking about how we were talking about Patreon supporters and all that shit and they're cool and everything and like people were asking questions and I'm like, it's funny because Funbuster has like fucking what do you have like 150 or 60 Patreon supporters now? Yeah. And which is cool, but like I have like 88.
Well, maybe you should be nicer to people.
I have
no.
like 15.
See, exactly. That's the thing. Is like we said in your videos, you're very professional, and on your Discord, you're very civil and very nice to people. But if people only knew you in real life, they'd be like, "Wow, this guy's a fucking prick."
Well, I mean, he's a lawyer.
Right.
I mean, that just comes with the job, so. I mean, at least he's not like a sleazy defense attorney, you know what I mean? So.
I can be.
I mean, everyone has their price, but like. But,
No, it's we were just talking about that, but like, no, rightfully so. Congratulations, man. Like, I actually, it's really fucking cool. I'm glad you have a lot of support because, yeah, and things are actually starting to look a little bit better Even though everybody's like, oh, it's all fucked, it's all grim. It's like, well, now is the time for people like Matt at Funbusters to have support and be able to take on this shit, which is fucking.
Yeah, I really appreciate the contributions to my ramen fund so that I can survive and continue yelling at the government.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you could make a bunch more money if you just started being a sleazy defense attorney for a bunch of kid touchers.
Dude, hey, Clown, we're fucking live right now. We're live. We're not in the studio. Shh. Quit talking about your fucking ramen fantasy.
Wait, what?
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
ramen's good.
Quit talking about ramen. Like, we're live now. You got to make people think that you're powerful, you know?
Oh,
Like, good God.
no, I need more money for ramen. Please donate to my Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, ramen's good. If I was a millionaire, I'd still eat ramen.
Well, right now, okay, so I'll explain the situation Matt's in. He's eating top ramen, which is okay.
Yeah,
He needs to be eating Maruchan ramen. That's what he needs to be eating.
fair.
And
fair.
he needs to go from like 20 or 19 cents a meal to 25 cents a meal. And like that's
Now wait,
that-
Matt. Are you at the stage where you're only eating one thing of ramen, or do you make two at once?
I did the 2 for a couple weeks very aggressively, so I cut back to 1.
Ooh, yeah.
he's losing weight rapidly, people. Jesus.
No, I said I began to inflate rapidly.
Yep. Well, all the water retention from all the salt that you're eating.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't hear inflate
And then
because
the
your,
carbs.
your internet service is so
Yep, all
shitty
the
because you're
carbs.
only affording fucking top ramen that we didn't understand, or I didn't hear the fucking.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm going down 75 right now.
No, it doesn't. That's just an excuse. See,
I think you need to upgrade the internet in your mobile office. It's kind of terrible. So,
You're right, I do.
it's like a mobile hotspot where everybody gets a headache when
yeah,
they
he's
drive
gonna get
by.
like a mobile hotspot and solder one of those like cigarette lighter chargers on.
No, but like
Have
it's
in
so
his car.
intense. People are getting headaches as he's driving by, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, what the fuck?" And it's like, no, this is some intense shit here. Like he can stream anywhere in the world with his fucking truck,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get a headache, and you're probably gonna get cancer in a couple years.
And there's
Not
a
big
there's
deal.
a phase converter in the bed of my truck just going.
yeah, just humming. Yeah,
Oh,
fucking
geez.
Christ.
God damn.
I gotta pull over and I gotta charge this bitch up. It's not performing right. You ground yourself on the fucking like 365,000 volt fucking wires. Pull it down. All right, we're good. And then you put it back up.
Do you have any uranium on you by any chance?
Ugh.
Or I just have another Chevy truck engine in the bed running the fucker.
Yeah, just like
Yep.
on skids, just running.
Rolling down the road, people are looking at you like, I don't know if I should be pissed off or jealous.
Well, I mean, he lives in Florida. Somebody's probably done that.
Right. That's why I said pissed off or jealous. It depends on who
Yeah.
he meets. He meets one of the snowbirds. They're like, that's polluting the fucking environment. He meets one of the locals. They're like, God damn, I should do some of that shit right there. Fuck.
Hooked up to a window unit in the rear windshield of your truck so you get extra good air conditioning.
Oh, yeah. He just got it. Eventually, that's what's going to happen is like he's going to be a mobile fucking streamer.
Yeah. It's
From
going to be
anywhere.
his literal mobile office. He's going to have the AC unit, the little desk that like rotates around like the cops have.
Yeah, and it is still a piece of shit truck, but like that'll just be the body. Like when we're thinking about that,
Yeah.
you got the technology there. Just like the chassis is not so good, but it works.
I just imagine like, the old like 90s, like red and like off-white, like rust patches all over it, and then just like a big like decal on the side, like moving vans have, with like Matt's face on it.
Just my
Just-
face,
Shitty
nothing else.
So, like we were talking behind your back, wide out in the open. I said you look better when you're fucking clean shaven with maybe a little bit of stubble. And Devin has never
I said
seen
I
a
haven't
picture of
seen
you.
with a clean-shaven face, so I don't know.
Right.
Well, I sent you pictures from like 12 years ago, so it may have been like, you may have been misled by the youth and
The fact that he's young.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But then, like, the spark in my eyes.
Yeah, you haven't.
You know,
You haven't.
the will to live that was
isn't
still
it?
manifest at that time.
Well, that's back when I was still having gay thoughts and like maybe. So yeah, I might have like transgressed back to that period of my life where I was like, well, would I have, or who knows? You know, maybe you're onto something here.
See, I thought I was the only metrosexual person here, trying to maintain a metrosexual image.
Oh, Matt's not metrosexual. He's asexual.
Oh,
What?
Mm-hmm.
what? Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I like rumors about me.
Well, yeah, we've got to start. We have to start rumors because that's how you gain notoriety. Is well, Mike B, this fat
All
fucking white
publicity
piece of
is
shit.
good publicity. So.
Right, this white piece of shit said, you know, you have fucking, you're better when you're clean shaven, and that he was gay for you if he would have gone back in the day. Like, that's how you get notoriety, you know?
Hell yeah.
Fair. Oh god.
But what the fuck? Yeah. So what's going on, Matt?
I'm headed on up to Georgia, looking for a soul to steal.
What's in Georgia?
Oof.
The Iraq veteran 8888 shoot.
Oh,
Oh.
Mike doesn't like him.
Oh,
Now you started something. You didn't even
well,
realize.
no, I don't want to start nothing because he invited me to go shoot guns. I want to do that.
Well, sounds like you should have invited him to go shoot guns first, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't have millions of dollars for pandering to a bunch of 12-year-olds. Like, I don't have that money.
But you got guns.
Yeah.
See? That's all you need.
12-year-olds?
Well, I mean, that's probably something we shouldn't be talking about unless you're going to start defending a bunch of kid touchers. So,
How did that get construed as like? No, I'm talking. Okay, I'm sorry. 13-year-olds. You have to be 13 to have a YouTube account, quote unquote.
fair.
My bad. I misspoke. That was my bad completely.
Yeah.
But
At least you're worried about accuracy.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's well. Have fun with that, Matt. I appreciate that. I will never get invited to that because I've talked so much shit about him. And,
I know. I mean, he seems like a cool guy.
He's really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's gonna be fucking great. But like, I don't know. It's
I'm not big boy famous though, so nobody knows about me. So I can't do anything. I can't do anything cool like that.
I don't. Well. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
I'm not famous either.
I'm glad.
Like,
You're going up. You're going to be shooting guns. You're going to be shooting some full auto shit because he's, got all the licenses and the money that he's been getting since 2012. And
Ask him about his Snyder. He really likes his Snyder.
I only have like 18,000 subs or something. So.
Well, when I first started talking to you, you had 15,000. You've gained 3,000 in a couple months, which is pretty good because the trajectory of your channel is like that's going to be, add a couple zeros to that here by the end of the year. So
pretty much. I got 5 this whole week.
Woo. Weird. His internet's cutting out. He's got to get this mobile command station set up.
He's got to get this mobile.
He's got to get this thing
going on.
Where like he doesn't have to have the lights on.
There we go.
It's glowing from the fucking the electromagnetic fucking radiation that's bleeding off.
But I did the past couple of videos I did were like really much more educational, which is like what the direction I really wanted to go in.
Something.
And they did fucking awful. Like,
well, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's educational. It's not entertaining. It's educational.
Well, it's short term. So here's the thing, dude. Is like a lot of those videos that I've made that are quote unquote educational. They do horse shit for the first several months, and all of a sudden, randomly, they'll fucking blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know what it is, like I don't know how to explain it, the algorithm and people watching the engagement and all that shit, but like the fact that they're out there will pay off. It's just, again, you started very late and you're also doing very well. So don't take that as like a something that's like against your work.
It's just how people are. People would much rather watch stuff that's not that just boring kind of educational, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But, like,
I try to
so
make it fun, but there's only so, like, you can only make talking about the utilities of a gun trust that fun.
Exactly. So
That's
that's
the
the thing. There's only so much you could do.
And I was going to watch it today, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, this is going to require me to actually pay attention, so I'll wait until I'm actually going to pay attention.
I don't want to learn. When do we get to the guns?
But no, like, in all honesty, though, so Ian, like, from Forgotten Weapons, I've been following him since, like, 2011 or 12, before...
Yeah, same.
Back when he was a
He
nobody.
was getting, like, a couple hundred views on his videos, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shit, well, this is right up my alley. Like, this is fucking awesome. And his shit wasn't like, it's not, I don't want to say it's boring, but it's not like super, you know, it's very
I mean,
educational.
it's dry. It's pretty dry.
It's
pretty
educational.
dry, yeah.
We'll put it that way. And so he blew up in like 2015 and 16 hard. Like he was getting a lot more subs and a lot more views up until then, but he really blew up when people were like, oh, well, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but like a video game came out or something, and oh, I just discovered this guy, and like, so it takes time.
Right.
And the fact that your channel is pretty new, like, and you've already got 18,000 subs, I would say like you're doing very well. You're on track to do very well. And just because right now you've only got a few thousand views on your educational videos, which they all are, don't get discouraged and just keep making them, because again, you'll have one that you're like, well, this got 200 views on it total, and then all of a sudden, like a couple months, it's gonna have like 1 million. You're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the shit, you know?
All right.
So
I mean, I'm just gonna. Well, that's the one piece of advice I've had from everyone who's been successful on YouTube is they're like, find a niche and just hit that beat. Don't try to chase the dragon. You know.
right,
So.
right, and that's
People
the thing
will
is
come
like,
to you. You don't need to go to them.
right, and you keep putting out content, so when people do discover you, it's already there, and then they go, oh shit, well, I get comments a lot like, I didn't know about your channel. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole now. And then they become like subscribers and like regular viewers, and this is you know.
Well, yeah, and like
years.
I'll happen upon older videos too, and like that must happen to lots of people.
Yeah,
like for example,
You cut out because your internet's sketchy because you're driving? Is that what you're gonna say? We were doing so well and we fucking lost him.
We were on such a good roll.
Fucking lost him.
Chase that. Hillary Clinton as we speak.
He's gonna. Well, we're gonna find out. You know.
I think I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Oh, we thought you were getting Hillary Clinton, and they were like, scrambling the signal. And...
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, for an example, out of nowhere, I wound up with this Mauser Car 98, and I can't really explain how I got it, but I found this old video from Milsurf World, and I watched it, and it was really good. The video was a couple years old.
Yeah, I'm glad you found a resource of something that you shouldn't have bought, but you did, and I'm glad you found a resource to that.
Yeah, I don't know how I wound up with that gun. I mean, I think somebody just wasn't willing to spend the right price on it.
That's
right,
fair,
and
just fell into my lap.
You got lucky. You did everything right, and
God dang.
He's fucking cutting out again. Jesus Christ.
He's probably cracking again.
The freeze frame, check the teeth. Check out his teeth. He's smiling. He's laughing.
Yeah. Probably crashing, just like when he almost bought that. Like when he bought that gun from under you.
Well, he pulled over to fucking do that.
Yeah, but he's still just like...
He was on the road. I know he was fucking insane. But that was awesome. God, that was fucking great. And like we were gonna do that recently, but like there's no good auctions. Like
no, and that one that you said was moving way too slow because it was, of course.
Yeah, that one fucking that auction, we were both watching it and I'm like, dude, it's like fucking 3 p.m. and like they're not even to the good shit. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was just fucking insane. So
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, you're insane. But
Dude, that's crazy.
Jeez. We were talking about how we got to do another auction, and the last one didn't quite work out.
Yeah, because Mike shit it up.
Well, dude, it was
your fault. I was actually going to be in front of the office, in front of the computer.
And I know that, but like by the time, but like let's say what actually happened. Like by the time it came up to even being like somewhat okay and like whatever, like you're like, well, I gotta fucking hit the road, and I'm like, well, this isn't even good shit. It's all M1s. They're like rare M1s, and it's like whatever. And it was just like, fuck this. It took like 4 hours longer than I expected it to.
Yeah, they did have a lot of BS.
Yeah,
and
it
I
was
mean
like
the last Rock Island auction, dude. Oh my god. I had them phone call me because they had 2 of the French self-loading rifles.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I've saved my pennies. I sold my Barrett, right?
Good choice.
So I was like, well, because they were selling for way too fucking much. It was just ridiculous. And I was like, all right, I got some scratch. I'm going to get me one of these French self-loading rifles.
Which one?
Well, they had a 1918 and a 1917. And so historically, the 1917 is sold for like 5 to 7K, all right? The 1918, I was like, it's probably going to go wild, but you know what? I'll bid it up to 8. All right? She gets on the phone with me, and I was like, all right, what are the pre-bids at? She's like, okay, well, the lot opens up at 45. And I'm like, all right, cool, we're in. She just goes, like, 10 seconds later, she goes, are you in at 12,000? And I go, what? No! she goes, it sold for like 18,000.
Jesus.
And then the next one goes up to 1917, which again, historically, is 5 to 7K.
Yeah.
So it's a semi-automatic rifle, and I mean, it's smooth as butter. You know, it's nice, right? And honestly, $5,000 is an embarrassing amount of money to spend on a 5-shot semi-automatic rifle, right?
And a pretty early one at that. That's
right.
Known for having problems and.
Yeah, and also you can't get clips for it. I was going to make them. It opens up. She's like, all right, are you in at 6? And I go, yes. And she goes, oh, wait, no, it's 9 now. And I go, what? And then that one sold for like 13,000. And that's before the buyer's premium.
Right.
And I was just like, guess I'm fucked.
Wow.
And I feel like these are going to evade me just like the FAMASs did. Like there was a time where the FAMAS was going, you know, the MOS 223, they were going routinely for $5,000 every time. And then I finally, when I was like, you know, I was like 24 and I had put the money aside and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get the next one.
Yep.
That one went for 8. And then I was like, shit. And then I finally had $10,000 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the next one.
Yep.
And then that one went for 13. And then I was like, okay, me and my buddy got together and we're like, if we literally sell all of our guns, we can afford to pay 20% more than the last one went for.
Yep.
And we can do it, right? So I was like, all right, cool, we're in. We're going to do it. Like, this is going to be our gun. It's literally our only gun.
Yep.
That fucker broke $23,000.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And so I was just like, I'm cursed. I could never have one. I'm not allowed.
Yep. Did you ever?
And now I think the last one went for 40.
Jesus Christ.
You're a fucking
it's just like, yeah, and it's like, and it's the 223 Century import that like didn't work.
Well, the FAMAS isn't even that great. I know because I've shot one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Well, with the French.
Oh, I've never shot one.
I spent some time next to a bunch of French soldiers, so.
I heard the trigger is like
nightmarishly
bad.
Not that great, so. It's got the typical, along with a lot of the early bullpups. It's got the really mushy kind of trigger pull because of the transfer bar, and
it's super thin.
the sight radius on it's a little weird because it's on
How's
that
the
like,
recoil
long
impulse?
carry handle. So, what'd you ask?
What was the recoil impulse like?
But pretty much like every other, mostly plastic 223. Nothing.
Oh, really? I figured it would be violent given the, delayed blowback.
Well, it's set so far back in the shoulder, the action is
Right.
and stuff, so like that absorbs a lot of it because everything's happening so far back in the gun. But it has a pretty aggressive muzzle climb.
Really?
Yeah, they're not that great. So because once
I guess
again,
the bore axis
all
is
of
pretty
the
high.
all of the weight is in the back. There's nothing holding the
Right.
barrel down. So they're not good. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, I'm gonna make one.
All right, make one. The best bullpup I've ever shot's the AUG. So
I don't like them.
they're weird for sure.
The
They're
best
really
bullpup I've ever shot is, in 5.56, the old school Bushmaster M17,
weird.
and in 308, definitely the Keltec RFB.
Not bad choices.
Yeah, those are, and I mean, I really like bullpups, and those are my choices.
I think that I only like the AUG basically, and I've shot a couple of the Israeli ones and stuff, and I'm just like,
Oh no, I do not like those.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck my X95. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always liked a more conventional setup rifle, anyways. So
Oh no, I like bullpeppers. I'm a big bullpepper boy.
bullpepper, there you go. But then you don't like the AUG.
No, I don't. I don't like. And you know what? I have the F2000 too that sits above my shoulder,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I love that gun. I love the way it feels because of how weird it is, because it's mostly empty space, so it just
looks like a
feels so
space
weird.
gun. It feels hollow. Yeah.
Yeah, but because it is, it literally is hollow. But the trigger pull on it is just an atrocity, and it's got
That mushy, horrendous. Yeah.
Well, and then have you ever taken out an AUG trigger pack and put it next to an FN trigger pack? Have you?
No.
No, they're not similar. They're the same. Like
Really?
somebody paid someone else.
Hmm.
They're the same. Like, there's a couple little mods in getting them to fit in the different housings, but all of the internal parts, like most of
Are
them
the
look
same.
interchangeable.
Well,
So
it says
I just don't like that trigger.
Well, you own it at least. There you go.
Well, I am a trigger queen, though. I'm a huge trigger queen.
Man, you gotta shoot the Wurndl sometime. The 22.5-pound trigger pull that thing's got.
It could be heavy, but if it's clean, I'm still with it.
It's not clean either.
Okay, good. Awesome.
That was the safety. They wanted to be able for you to put like a 1/2-inch branch into the trigger guard of that rifle and have it round you off. So, but
the French
it's
school of thought.
pretty much. Well, it's like it's a single shot rifle. They're like you're supposed to carry it with the one in the chamber, and like the hammer at like the half cock, but you never know. So we're gonna make the trigger pull just horrendous.
Well, and also at that time, they really weren't concerned about individual marksmanship.
New.
Yeah, for sure.
But for like the first ever mass adopted center fire rifle in history, it's not bad. So,
I do want to shoot a Wurndl.
I have one. You can shoot it.
I just have to go to Canada.
No, I'm in Minnesota. I live
No,
2
you're
hours
not.
from here. So
He called him. Got him.
I live 2 hours from Mike. So, but the thing's
Well,
the shit. It's
that's
actually
not
a really
saying
nice
a lot. To say you live 2 hours from me is not saying a lot.
I mean, that's a lot of distance. You can cover a lot of distance in 2 hours. So
Right, and like the Canadian border is very
4
close
hours
to
away.
that.
Yeah, so 4 hours away.
Well, depending on how fast you drive, but yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah, I was
But yeah,
told.
if you want to shoot it, I mean, I
Yeah.
still have some ammo and stuff for it.
I want to. As soon as Mike gets he needs to smuggle in some of that highly dangerous biotoxin food. and
Yeah, and we can eat biotoxin food.
yeah,
and
I'll
chew
come up and we'll
burgers.
taste it.
Oh god, that pissed me off.
Well,
It's like,
maybe if you weren't trying to buy a pallet of Vienna sausages, this wouldn't be a problem.
it's whatever.
That was kind of a horse fuckery what they did there,
dude.
though.
I wanted to try this shit because it's no fucking preservatives. It's canned. It's sealed.
Well, yeah, because
fucking-
it's Europe, because they care about their
Right.
people. They don't put poison in it. But
it's just
also
real
the
food,
FDA
and it's
says
like,
poison.
oh god. Ugh.
It's not poison enough, Mike. That was the problem.
Right, that's
Yeah.
probably the problem. Yeah. Well, there's not, fucking
Hey, they didn't put any estrogen in here.
right.
Yeah.
BPA free cans? We don't do that shit here unless you got a license, bitch.
You got a license for that can?
That's literally what it is. Like,
Yeah.
so if I were to actually be able to import those, I would have to, like, this is awesome. This is how cool government is. I would have to I'd have to create an account with the FDA, right? I would have to submit paperwork to have them go over to where it's produced in Germany
And check it
and
out.
have them inspect the facility, pay for all this, mind you. Mind you, it's I'm already
You have to
paying
pay
a
for
shitload
it,
of taxes every year, but I'll have to pay extra for them to go over there and inspect the facility, clear it or not clear it. Either way, I pay, and then they come back, inspect it again, and they go, okay, well now you have to notify us every time you're bringing this into the country, even though we approved that manufacturer for importing
Import.
food and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's FDA approved. You have to submit paperwork every time you're going to import it
Yeah, every
because we
shipment.
need to make our money. Oh,
The money.
okay, yeah. Because of the Bioterrorism Act of 2002,
Yeah.
great legislation
Bioterrorism.
that was passed.
Vienna sausage.
Got to defeat
Yeah, we can't have that.
defeat bioterrorism. Yeah, got to
That's true.
defeat that with natural
Well,
food
listen,
that's
man.
preserved.
This wouldn't be a problem if you just bought American.
Yeah, if we just bought American food, it would be.
Why are
Fine.
you trying to ship our jobs over to the Germans? Do we got to go show them again?
Everything that comes from outside the United States of America is a bioweapon. They're trying to kill us all. Think of the children, the women.
Especially if we shipped it out of there. You can't bring it back. That's one of my favorite things.
Oh fuck yeah! It's like Jesus Christ. It's all about money. It's really about
Yeah,
money and
right.
power. and
It's,
just
all
fucking-
about just the government getting their share. Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! But like, yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm not going to go on that rant any more than what I just did.
Yeah. If only you knew a lawyer that could help you do stuff like that.
He couldn't actually. The only option is me paying a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
That's
could
the
show
only
them where to
option.
put the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's pretty much all. And help them fill out the forms, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like then I have to pay Matt money and like it's.
Well, I'm surprised that place wherever you bought the food from wasn't in. A lot of stuff from Europe is already like checked.
The what?
A lot of I'm surprised whatever you were buying wasn't already like approved for coming into the United States. A lot of that
No, it's
stuff
not how-
already
that's not how it works.
FDA.
Well, even if it
Everything-
was, he'd have still been fucked.
Yeah,
Well,
I
'cause
was.
you still didn't
dude,
fill out the sheet of paperwork saying
No,
you brought
here's
it in.
the
Well,
thing
and you
too
didn't
is-
get them approved.
Right, and here's the thing too is like, so I can buy Kevlar helmets, body armor, gas masks, and shit from Europe because they already got the license for the EU and the United States to export it to the United States, right?
Yeah.
So they already did that because they're a huge supplier, right? And so I can have that shit. Okay, so example, I can have a Hungarian, or I'm sorry, a Polish gas mask shipped to me, right? I cannot sell that outside of the United States because it falls under ITAR, the International
yeah.
Trade. Yeah, I cannot sell that back to somebody in Poland where it originated without a license to export to that specific country.
And then bribing them $250 for each package.
Correct.
Weird. But I just find it weird. So the food you were buying was not inspected by the FDA.
The U.S. FDA, no.
Okay, so because I know a lot of food comes from Europe, obviously, so they must have it already inspected.
Yeah,
by
or it
the
comes through
USFDA.
Aldi, who does all that stuff, and they do like 18 containers at a time.
Exactly, and they've got the money to do that.
Yeah.
The small guys like me are fucked when it comes to that sort of thing.
No, but like no. What I'm trying to say is, so every single fucking thing needs to be inspected by the FDA when it comes in
Yes.
and paid for. So like even if they went there and that facility is now like approved by the US FDA, it says right on the fucking can, they can't send that to the United States.
No. So they can. Okay. So yeah, that's what I was saying is like, so if I were to pay money to have that place that manufactured the food that I purchased, if I were to have FDA approved people that are working in there to get sent over there, inspect the entire facility, all that shit.
To like certify that as approved. Yeah.
Sure. Then when it came into the country, I would still have to pay a tax on it, a tariff on it. And
that's what I
would also have
but the FDA is not going to have to like check it over.
No, correct. But I'd also have to fill out a massive amount of paperwork, even if I brought one flat of canned goods into the country. I'd have to give them written notification, and I have to get authorization back from them. I'd have to get that thing for it to clear customs and send that to customs and all that shit. But like the amount of money that I have to spend to get that fucking facility US FDA approved, and then the subsequent tariffs and whatnot on that is so cost prohibitive for me. It's like, well, fuck, I can't do it as a small business owner. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of you guys might be wondering, well, how come I can buy MREs from Russia and stuff off of eBay and just get shipped to my house? You know why that is? Because Mike was actually trying to do it the right way and have it brought in on a pallet with an importer. And so that's how he got snagged, because they inspected it. But what these Russians and Europeans stuff who just send the MREs over, they just feed it over in the mail, and they just don't. And if they catch it, they just send another one. They don't care.
Right.
Yeah, because the post office doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, and they'll also, on the customs form, they'll put gift.
Right. Yeah, or like, or book or something of similar shape.
And customs is like, it's a small parcel. Fuck it. We don't have time for this. They'll send it on. And for me, like, I was bringing, freight. I mean, it's not a lot of freight, but it's a couple pallets worth. It's 6 pallets worth of shit. And on the customs, there's a sheet you have to submit that the company sends to customs. I know, Matt, you know this, but like, it's for the people that don't know in the chat.
No, I was just sympathetically saying, it wasn't.
Oh, I understand that, and then you get this like, they have to submit a form to me, which I give to my import broker company, who gives that to customs, and they clear the freight based on these HTS codes, the something tariff, whatever codes.
High tariff schedule.
High tariff schedule. Yep. And then so what happened was they did that. And usually, like, my freight is cleared before it hits the U.S. They ship it to me, whatever, because it's shit that they know. It's got an HTS code. What happened was, before it got here in November, the end of November, they said, "Hey, this is coming up as food. Is it food?" And I said, "Yes, it is. It's canned goods." And they're like, "That's not okay. Like, here's why." And I'm like, "Okay." I thought it was like fresh produce and shit at this time. I didn't know. And they're like, "No, so this HTS code is this, and you need to have, what we just said." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Well, how do we do that?" Well, they didn't know how to do it either, and they didn't want to do it because it was such a small shipment. It was 6 pallets versus 6 containers, Yeah. And that's why it's taken so fucking long, and I was sick and everything, and I had to, do all that shit in between. Cody, shut up. And it was whatever. But now I'm getting it straightened away, where they've had it separated for a couple months now, but they have to have. So here's the greatest thing. So now we're at a position right here where it's gonna probably be like within the next couple weeks, I'll be getting this freight finally, and people's boots that they fucking ordered in November. So it's gonna get to the point where the biohazard, the food was separated in the warehouse under customs supervision. Okay. And remember, everybody, customs is a federal agency that oversees this, which is fine, I guess. That's within their purview to an extent. And so they separated the hazardous cargo, and it was sitting there, and my freight was sitting in a different location without the hazardous cargo, and it's been sitting there for months. And they had to find a third party destruction something company that was certified with customs to go in and destroy the items or whatever, and produce a certificate, a written certificate to customs that it was destroyed in this manner on this date, and then customs would say, okay, now we're going to sign off and release the freight. That hasn't happened yet. We're in that stage right now where we found a company finally, I hope, that is going to do all this shit, and I'm going to have to pay for it, mind you. As a small business owner, I'm going to have to pay for all this shit. Customs is not fining me, which is a really good thing, but like it's still, I have to pay an extra probably several $1,000s for this company to come in here and literally put it in a garbage can
and dump them out. Yeah.
Right. And like, and then produce a certificate and give that to customs, and they photocopy it a million times, just costs more money that you guys paid in taxes, and then give it to the import company that says, okay, we're good, release the freight, and then I can get my freight, fucking sort it and list it and sell it as usual.
I don't know why they don't just do like what everyone does anyways. Just wheel that fucking pallet into the ocean. Send the rest of the shit your way.
Because it's the government. They gotta get they have to.
Well, they're just gonna dump it in the ocean anyway.
They have to justify their job. Like everybody has to justify their fucking job in the government. So
that's fair.
And
just dump it in the ocean. Dump all those Vienna sausages in the ocean. They'll be fine.
Right.
Something will eat them.
Exactly. Well, I would have been like, fine, fuck it, do it. But like that wasn't an option, and it sucks. That's how powerful and like big the federal government has gotten, though.
Like, Big Brother's always watching, and it's a real thing.
A small business like myself, a one-guy operation that's trying to make it because I like doing what I do. It's fucking fun. I love selling surplus because I keep a bunch of it that I shouldn't, but I do. Is getting punished for a minor fuck up that could have just been like, throw it in Lake Michigan or donate to the homeless. Who gives a fuck? Well, you don't care about them anyway.
That's why they got to do all this.
What, Matt?
Approved food.
Right.
You can't feed the homeless. It's not approved food.
Yeah, but like they give
or
the
they
homeless
can
anyway.
Poison it and leave it around like they do with the other homeless food.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like they give a shit about the homeless. Like, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Like if they would have said, "Hey, we're gonna donate this to the homeless," I'd have been like, "Okay, that was worth the wait. That's fine." But yeah, it's not approved. But we're gonna sit there and fucking do what Matt just said, and we've poisoned food around to like thin the herd a little bit. Oh shit, it just happened.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're shitting on the sidewalk and stuff now. We got to get rid of them. They're like pigeons.
Well, why is that though? Why are there so many of them? Oh,
I don't know. Because we're not killing them fast enough, apparently.
Right, that's what the feds think. But anyway, so that's the situation for myself as a small business owner in rural fucking Wisconsin being affected by the feds. Like it happens to everybody. You just don't see it.
Yeah, everyone gets fucked by the feds.
Oh, it's so bad. But anyway, I don't want to make this a rant about like fucking that.
The government.
But it just sucks. Like I've been waiting 6 fucking months for 6 pallets worth of shit. That's like a quarter of my year's fucking salary, right? That's a quarter of my year's wage. And it's just sitting there because it has to go through all these fucking steps. It's like, okay, just throw it in a garbage can, eat it yourself. I don't give a fuck. I just need my freight. I'm out the money that it costs me anyway to buy the shit, right? That's not bad enough, right?
Yeah. You spend all $1,000 and now you're waiting. You're relying on that money to have a turnover, and you still haven't got it.
And I've lost $1,000 just because that I can't sell that now. And so that's not a big deal. And then I'm gonna get charged for this whole process. Luckily, the fucking powers that be had mercy on my plebe soul to not find me. But like, it's like, what the fuck?
Well,
man?
I mean, they probably didn't. You're probably definitely on a list somewhere now as like a terrorist, a bioterrorist.
No, I actually looked at the like how they score the penalties and shit. And it's like lack of experience with importation. The dollar amount, what it was, and like so all these things added up, and they're probably like, well, He's a small timer. He's just a plebe. This will be his last time doing anything, like this.
And then they go, hey, "Yep, we'll just steal this file," and then they just go bioterrorist and they file it away.
Well,
That way, if
fine.
you do it again, they could bust down your door and.
Yeah, and I'll be like, I'm a fucking veteran.
Yeah,
That doesn't matter. That's yeah. I mean, you know what I mean?
Like, well, good. Have you ever been shot before?
You're about to be.
Yeah,
Don't move. Don't move.
First time, huh?
Don't move. You're shaking. Stop moving. Ah! Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah. Anyways, that's where that's at. Like, it's fucked. And
Hey, at least everyone will get their shoes by Christmas.
yeah, I'll bet you these fuckers at the rate they're going, I'll bet you it'll be almost a full year before these people that ordered boots.
Well, no, it's the government, of course.
Well, and a couple people, and like, I'm not even mad. A couple people are like, dude, can I just get my money back? And I'm like, at this point, yeah, like,
yeah.
I'm like, I totally get it. I'm sorry, it like fucks me a little bit, but like, I'll be able to resell them if I ever fucking get them. But like, there's been a lot of people. If you guys are watching, by the way, now or after, and you're waiting on boots, I keep talking about this in videos, you don't understand how much I appreciate your patience. Like, it's going to be awesome. And you're going to get some extra shit thrown in with your purchase that you did in November of last year because I feel so fucking bad. So, like, it's not my fault, but, like, it's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But
it's also the government. But, like, everything the government touches is bloated and inefficient.
What kind of boots? I got a bunch of different kind. A lot of British surplus boots. The modern ones that are really nice, like the Altbergs, and some of them are resold. The German Nobelbekers, which are like jack boots, but like they have a rubber sole that's like oil resistant, all that shit. The new ones. German, just regular M2007 combat boots. A bunch of different styles of boots that were ordered, and they're in the shipment and everything. They're really nice and everything, but like, and I'm also waiting on. So the boots were a part of the order. I ordered a shitload of stuff. I've got some amazing stuff coming, including the last of those VZ80 medical kits, those Czech ones.
Yeah,
that's the last of them.
The big like bag ones you had. Yeah,
no, they're the box. They're in the box.
Yeah, but like the big ones.
Yeah, yeah, the nice ones.
Very narrow pan, but.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. The nice ones. I got a bunch of some Kevlar plates coming, which we'll be talking about in the future. That actually, my neighbor and I shot, and they did very fucking well. I have a couple of them. I just don't want to list them yet, because I don't have a lot left. I've got a bunch of East German Grenzer hats, like the visor caps. A shitload of those. Polish WZ-2000 Kevlar helmets. British Mark 6 helmets. Fucking a bunch of clothing that I can't remember. It was November when I ordered all this shit.
If only there was an order list somewhere.
Well, there is. I don't want to pull it up right now. I'd have to go back in my fucking email and check that out. But like,
fair.
It was a lot of fucking money that I spent and dropped on that, and it's like, yeah, I really don't like that shit being held up either, because it's, again, a quarter of my year's like income is just sitting there.
Well, you gotta just go off and go back to school to become a sleazy lawyer. It sounds like.
Oh, even worse. I went to school and I could become a cop or a corrections officer at any point. So.
Well, I mean, it's a good time to be a police officer, Mike. You should go do that.
It's a great time to be a cop. That's what I want to do. I just want to like drop my business.
Yeah, go join the bad guys.
Yeah, just go and be a cop and fucking live that life, and
it'll be fine.
Get on the take.
I want to see what new like PC non-lethal, non-violent, non-offensive weapons they give police officers.
Yeah, but like it's like I'm fine. Like the business is not going to fail. It's just it sucks that this happened. Here's the thing though: if this would have happened like 3 or 4 years ago, yes, I wouldn't exist now. Like that business would have been fucked. But now I'm in a place, thanks to all the customers and everybody that's been watching and buying shit. I'm in a place where like I'm not gonna like lose everything, but like I have to stop spending money for a while.
Well, I mean, like everyone should stop spending money for a while.
Right, but
everything's getting expensive.
when you have a problem like I do with military surplus shit, it's like it's hard. But like it's like I just want that to get here. I want to be able to fucking move this stuff, sell it to people that are going to appreciate it. Because again, I keep one of most of what I sell, at least one,
just
and
to
I
keep
use it.
Yeah,
and the rest of it I sell, and then I just want to keep getting cool shit. But it's whatever. I'll quit bitching about it. It is what it is. Like it's going to be okay. I'm going to get it within the next couple weeks, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, you've been
then-
saying that since November, though.
And then Matt will shave his fucking beard, and then he can come up here and shoot your Verndl.
Shoot the Verndl.
Yep.
Hell yeah! I want to shoot the Verndl.
The Verndl's pretty. I even got the stabby implement for it. The big
Poker.
yeah. So
Fucking short sword bayonet. Love them.
yeah, it's got
I
a
love
20-inch
pokers.
blade on it.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah, you really had to want it back then. They really hated horses, but they also really liked horses back then. So
Right.
very love-hate relation. You know what? You never think about that. How many? Because like basically up till World War II, horses were like the primary mode of like moving shit relatively quickly. How many?
it was World War One was like the end of that.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah, but still, but like
Because they
no,
killed all the horses.
like lots of supply stuff being moved by horses for both sides.
yeah,
But, like,
and then in World War II they were like
No,
even more dumb than the First
Yeah.
World War. No.
pretty much. 1920 was like the hard end to like
Right.
horses being a thing. But like, I wonder how many horses have like indirectly just been killed. You know, in like all of these conflicts, like of people.
Yeah, but you hate
because
horses,
that
so you don't give a
bayonet and
fuck.
that rifle was literally designed to like kill horses.
Yeah.
So, like, how many horses are being killed by people with bayonets and lines?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're asking that like you're going to be sympathetic, but you're going to be like,
No, I
fuck
hate
horses. I fucking hate them.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know the numbers so I can have it, you know,
You want to
I
know how
don't
many
think they were
strokes it's gonna
counting
take for
because
you to
they
get
were
off.
horses.
pretty much. Yeah, probably. But fuck horses. Horses are the dumbest.
I know the French killed like virtually all of their Briards in World War One because they were using them as messenger dogs and shit.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
now it's like a $10,000 dog.
fair. I mean, but you see that with a lot of stuff too. Like that was the same thing. Canada had its own breed of horse, and it's literally very originally named the Canadian horse.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
really original.
Yeah, I know.
Woo.
But like, it's its own horse breed, and they were really common actually until World War One. They like rounded them, you know, all up basically for the war effort, and like
Shot 'em.
either worked them to death or they like died on the battlefield, or they were like turned into food. And so now there's like 10,000 of them left in the world, and they're like really rare and expensive now. So yeah, so it's like because I think going into like pre-World War One, they said they had like 120,000 of that breed of horse in Canada, and by the end of World War One, there was less than 10,000 of them.
Fucking Dennis Crow's in the house. It's
That's
about fucking
right.
Time.
That's right.
God.
Isn't it past his bedtime?
Well, yeah, he's an old guy now, so yeah. Oh shit, and
That's
he's
what
on the
he was
East
telling
Coast.
me. He's like 1,000. Should be asleep.
And Dennis was in Vietnam, so he's like fucking. He's circling the fucking drain.
Jeez.
Like he's not much
I wouldn't
left.
go that far, but
Well, I mean, I've talked to him and I've said, man, hey, you're almost there.
well, it's probably all that deets that they dropped on him and all that Agent Orange and stuff. It's keeping him alive for forever. His body's just regenerating.
Oh no, it was his
Hey,
life
for
after
sure.
Vietnam. It was his life after Vietnam that shortened his life
Oh, okay.
for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you-
No, I was just saying, like, for an age reference, like he's old enough to have been in Vietnam, but like his life afterwards is like, yeah, he's a night owl. There you see.
Oh, okay, fair.
He
Then it
sleeps till like fucking noon each day, and like, hey, why are you bitching at me? Because I woke up at noon, man. Like, it's all good.
Right. I always say you're a degenerate if you don't wake up before 9 a.m. Of like
Yeah,
most
well,
days. I
exactly.
understand, obviously, like sleeping past that if you were drinking aggressively the night before or something, but like most days, if you're not up before 9 o'clock, you're degenerate.
I get out of bed at 11 every day.
Well, that perfect
No, you
example
don't.
right there.
No,
Yeah,
you
I do.
don't. You
I'm-
lying sack of shit.
Perfect
I'm working till
example
2 or
right
3
there.
a.m. every night.
Dude, you
Then I go
fucking
to-
send me messages like early in the morning.
Very rarely. I mean, like maybe at 2 or 3 a.m. when I'm still up.
Still awake.
No. We're talking
I'm
like
telling you, man.
7
I go
your
to bed
time.
at 2 or 3, and then I get up at 11.
Then you're waking up halfways, looking at your phone, and then fucking messaging me when I ask you something, and like not really
I mean,
being
that might
awake for it.
happen. I don't sleep very
every
well.
now and then. There's exceptions to every rule, for sure.
Well, Jesus.
Well,
I just
sleep
say I
until, like,
operate on Pacific
4.
time, but I'm on the East Coast.
That's fair, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Because
sleep
if it's
until
Pacific
4,
time, then I'm
but-
actually totally normal.
Yeah, fair. I mean, it is the East Coast. And in Florida also,
Well, then
people
you
tend to
should,
sleep later
you
in
should live in
Florida.
California. They have the most rights there, so you should go move to California.
Yeah, they do. They got a lot of them by statute.
Wow.
Like how if you rent a place, you don't have
Yes.
to leave.
Woo!
Oh, gosh.
That California landlord-tenant law is some of the most bonkers, like, clown
Well,
shoes shit
They
I've
don't
ever
want to
seen.
have a homeless problem, Matt. So if you
But
can't
they
pay,
do.
you just stay. They don't know that. Don't talk about it. So, it's not a thing. You know, if they don't let people leave when they can't afford it, there won't be homeless people.
Brilliant.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Well, with logic like that, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll never look into it ever again.
Fucking plastic bag, go away.
Oh, Mike's fighting a plastic bag now.
Yeah, I literally had a fight for like the past 5 minutes with a fucking plastic bag at my feet. Because I just got some new
Why
stuff
do you
today.
have a plastic bag at your feet?
I haven't thrown it away yet. I just got some new stuff today, and I was doing the whole throw it and then so.
Oh, right.
Fuck off. You've never done that, you
Right,
fucking clown.
I do it a lot.
No, I don't. I clean up my shit as I go. Like I do
That's
something
stupid.
and then
Yeah, I'm.
You must
that's why I
not get
don't have a
anything you're
mess,
excited
so
about.
I'm relatively clean.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't get anything you're excited about. Like, you probably crumple your toilet paper too. Like, you don't fold it, you crumple. You're just like,
Yeah, I
fine.
crumple, yeah.
right?
Well, I use like the crappy like Scott one ply, so you have to. You got to get some layers built up in there.
Jesus Christ.
So, what?
What? Really?
Yeah.
You use the Scott one ply?
Mhm, yeah.
Why?
Fucking. You cannot.
Because you
You
get
cannot.
like 5,000 sheets on a roll.
Yeah, but then it tears your
There's
butthole
nothing.
up.
Right. Well, Devin.
But
Devin
I'm also hardly ever home, so like I'm not ever using the bathroom here. So
he does work in the corner, and like, you know, if you know what I mean, some other people clean his ass for him.
well,
But-
the cool thing was, so I bought one pack of toilet paper when I moved in here, and that was 4 years ago, and I finally got rid of it. Like, okay, this is how good my luck is. Finally ran out of toilet paper after like 4 years, right as there was no toilet paper to be found anywhere.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about that is you just admitted that you could afford good toilet paper because you don't buy that much. So
Yeah, I don't.
you could afford good shit tickets. You just choose not to because you're
Pretty
a
much.
fucking moron.
Well, because the only people that are using my bathroom are other people, so fuck them.
What?
Yeah, the only people
Wow,
that are
that's-
using my
that's-
bathroom are other people. I hardly ever use
If
my
I-
own bathroom.
If I ever, I'm glad I've never been to your place because like if I went to your place and I had to take a wicked shit and I
You
tried to
use, like,
wipe
half a roll, probably. Yeah,
even just a healthy shit, right?
yeah.
If I took a healthy shit in your place and you provided me with Scott single ply, I'd be like, what are we doing here? Like, it was nice knowing you, man. We're fucking done. Like, goodbye.
Are you wearing an Enron shirt?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he is.
Kind of.
Well, sort of, kind of.
Oh, okay. I was like,
What's wrong with Enron?
nothing. They
Well, it
didn't
was
do
a fake
nothing.
business, and
people that do fake business nowadays look at Enron for how to do it.
But the government runs just fine.
It's a well-oiled machine. Yeah,
What are we oiling it with?
a lot of inflated fucking paper. Tell you that
Oiling it
much.
with the well.
Oh,
Yep. Oiling it with, exactly. Oiling it with the well. That's a
Well
great
oiled.
fucking. Yep. Yep.
oh, gross.
Fuck.
Gross.
Well, Devin, we just hit 3 hours. What do you
We
think?
did hit 3 hours. That's about it
Jesus
for me.
Christ.
Yes, my child.
Awful.
Awful.
That's awful. Yeah. All right. We just hit 3 hours, and
Yep.
I'm actually starting to get the fucking tireds going on because I'm an old fucking man that wakes up at 5 in the morning.
Same. I get to sleep in till 4 tomorrow. It's going to be great. I'm going to be up before that, probably.
So, well, hey, Matt, thanks. It was excellent quality video tonight. Like, I appreciate the time that you took out to, like, make the video quality, like, way better than what it usually is.
I mean,
So-
I like Matt. He's funny. I like talking to Matt.
Yeah, I know. I brought
Hey,
out the stuff to really
and-
get the mood.
Before we go, I gotta wish Matt good luck on getting his next 1917 or 1918. So we'll have one.
I'll never have one.
So we'll have one. Now
well-
watch one will pop up for like $6,000 and you'll get it, and you'll be like, "Well, Devin gave you all."
The
his
only way it
Canadian
could
watch."
happen now is if some other collector like pitied me, I think, or just like there was a sleepy auction day or something.
Yeah, well, it's weirder stuff has happened.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Enron.
It has.
yeah.
So
Fucking Christ.
that's right.
Oh, I like this. I like this comment. This is great. Just joined, half drunk, y'all talking about shit. Love it. Ha ha. That's about it. That's like
Nice.
the only people that can enjoy this shit. Oh yeah, sub to Devin K's channel, and then Matt at Fudbusters.
Yeah.
He busts guys like me all the time, so
Yeah,
it's like a good channel to watch.
And you get to learn cool stuff.
By the way, Matt, you do owe me a Fud hat, I think.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we did, and I think you owe
You're
me.
supposed to
a Fud
shoot
hat,
one of
like
those magic ATF balls I sent you.
The magic ATF balls. We gotta
They're
shoot
still
them.
here, but
Uh,
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it without shooting a nine. No, actually, I wouldn't even use a
We gotta do
1911.
a ballistic test on a magic ATF ball.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I can't do it until I get the magic hat. And it's gotta
That's fair.
be
We
the
gotta
actual.
do it in like a FUD hat if we're gonna shoot.
Dude, yeah, it cannot
You know, I
be
couldn't
like
find
it
them.
cannot be. What?
Like I couldn't find one that looked just right. I mean, I found a lot of houndstooth ones.
Yeah.
Will that do?
No, you find one that's exactly how you want it to be and how it should be, and then we'll talk about me shooting some magic ATF balls, like
Okay.
filming it on camera for. Oh, almost slipped up. YouTube. We'll talk about it then. But until then, I don't know. I'm just gonna be a FUD wearing military shit because I'm posing.
Fair.
I just recently got the first hat that I actually like wearing, by the way, because I've told you I'm not a hat person.
Yeah.
It was the Sarko reproduction of the French model 1949 bush hat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those big things.
I
Like
love
my
that
favorite
hat.
hat is like the Russian Panama hat, and it's actually based off of that exact hat. So
Really?
Does the bush hat have the back flaps on it?
No. It's got the it
big
folds up
brown
on one
canvas
side.
hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but like I thought, it was probably right after that they started doing the flaps in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Algeria
okay.
type stuff.
It was close, but like because yeah, exactly. Algeria, they were like,
Well, no, the
Well, this hat's
49 was
great.
for the war crimes in South Asia.
Yeah,
Well,
it's for
yeah.
Indochina. Yeah.
well, and in Algeria too, like
Yeah.
that's something that.
War crime hat.
Oh yeah, that fucking Algeria was even for French citizens, it was fucked up.
That's why my favorite thing is I have a full set of Lazard camo, and
Yep.
I love showing it to French people because they get all bent out of shape.
Bent out of shape about your
Yep.
war crimes camouflage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
basically like wearing fucking Waffen SS camouflage in Germany nowadays.
Hey,
They'll be
check out
like,
my cool camo.
oh well. Yeah.
It's also a really
whoops.
cool camouflage, though. So
It does. It looks
Yeah.
dope.
Oh yeah, but
it's fantastic
Yeah.
looking. The French lizard camouflage is amazing.
well, that's why it was so replicated and so fucking like influential.
I mean, the
to-
Greeks
Tiger
are still
stripe.
wearing lizard camouflage like to this day.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because
yep,
of the
yep.
French. Yeah.
Yep.
So-
And so yeah, that's fantastic. But
But anyway, yeah, we can all go home. Except
Well,
for me.
mean,
I have to
you're
go to
still
work.
driving, but-
well, you're going up to.
All right,
Soldier.
veterans area. Who's going to talk to you? He's Kermit the Frog. He's got Goo 98.
That was actually a really good impression. I'm kind of shocked by how good that was.
Well, why do you think that is?
Think about it. Have you ever seen Mike and Iraq veteran in the same place?
Oh, because you're the same person?
All right. Hey, good stream, guys. Good stream. We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
Is there why you'll never grow a beard on Mike B's channel? Because you only grow it for when you're doing videos for Iraq?
Yeah. Hey, great stream, Devin K. Matt from Floodbusters.
All right,
Subscribe to both
later.
channels. Yeah. Hey, good stuff. You know.
Oh, gosh.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Yep.